What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and after 118 days, Spurs have won a game in the Premier League. It's been a long time coming. We finally got over the line, still in the relegation zone. Oh man, what an emotional up and down day yesterday. My heart couldn't take it at times. I was getting so stressed. If any of you guys were watching here on a watch along, you would have seen how stressed we were getting. Sim was up there at Molineux. So let's get a on-the-ground review. How was it? Atmosphere sounded unbelievable.
Yeah, I think the fans in general yesterday really supportive, really loud. I think throughout the whole game, even though I think we can all agree it wasn't like our best performance, we weren't playing Wolves away, we were really struggling. And to be fair, I think, you know, during the game, I was speaking to a few fans, I'm like, you know, we're not doing much, you know, nothing's really happening. But the fans, in terms of general support, they just kept singing throughout the whole game. No boos at half-time, none of that. I think the fans, you could sense, felt like if they just kept just giving their all, at some point they'll get rewarded for it. Even though there was not much signs of it happening, there was a bit of a belief that if we just keep going, make sure we don't concede, and something will fall for us at that other end, because we know the Wolves are already relegated. How much fight do they have left in them? How are they going to lose their concentration? And near the end, exactly what happened. And I think wild celebrations for the goal. Obviously, it was a crazy moment when, as you say, in the ground, we knew kind of exactly what was happening with the other game. So we scored. Obviously, we knew West Ham winning at that time. Then when Everton scored, there was wild celebrations again in the away end, because it was a massive moment. For about 5 minutes, we're outside the relegation zone. Then all of a sudden, 4 minutes later, the Wolves fans erupted with the celebration. Like, when nothing was going on, we're like, oh God, what's happened? And then everyone's checking their phone. West Ham have scored It had real final day vibes, you know, in final day when everyone's checking the scores of the other games and there's celebrations going on all over the pit, all over the place. It had real final day vibes, and that was absolutely gutting that West Ham scored right at the end. And so our win, as much as it does mean something, because it means we're not cut adrift, also doesn't mean as much as it could have if Everton held on. There's a few other things. Obviously, at the end of the game, all the players came over to the fans, and that was
proper passion at the end from the players.
De Zerbi came over giving fist bumps. It was you could really see how much it meant to them at the end of the game.
So Van der Ven as well was very animated.
And as much as I think, you know, that win does come with a few caveats with the injuries that we picked up and the fact that West Ham won. You could just see the fact that we won our first game in 118 days and in 2026. I think there's a real weight lifted off the players' shoulders. I think you could see that, you could feel that when they came over at the end, and how relieved everyone was. And it's almost like when you wait so long for a win, that first one was never going to come easy. It was never going to be simple. And even though we're playing bottom of the league team who was already relegated, we made it hard for ourselves, but we got over the line. There was a Xavi, obviously with the Xavi injury, we could see, I don't know how much of it was caught on camera, but obviously he went down in serious pain. He was down for about 5 minutes. He then gets back up, starts jogging around the side of the pitch. And then, he looked like he's about to come back on at one point.
It was all documented, yeah.
And then he obviously then goes down injured, it was. I think to be fair, they stripped off Bergvall very quickly as soon as he went down. But it was horrible.
People are saying potential ACL injury or something like that.
I don't like to speculate on these things, but I really hope not.
Yeah, we all do. But I mean, it felt like everything was going against us again in terms of Wolves could have had a sending off, the injuries that we were getting, the way that Spurs were playing. It just felt like everything was going against us again. And then obviously I was seeing on the screen about because I was watching the West Ham game here as well, and the penalty that they should have got with the handball. And it's just like everything and anything is going against us. And you're just thinking, again, it's just not going to be our day. West Ham go 1-0 up and you're thinking, oh my God, this is it. This is literally it. When are we going to get some luck? And it's just like, it felt like nothing was coming. Obviously, we score kind of out of nothing. And then a few minutes later, Everton score. And it really felt like that could have been that momentum shift that we really needed, didn't we? And unfortunately, it didn't happen. And we'll get into the relegation a bit later on in the stream and the nitty-gritties of it. But it's just a kick in the teeth, isn't it? That West Ham went up the other end and scored after everything that had happened, because that momentum shift for those few minutes, it just felt like finally something is going our way. And it was just gutting. Like, even that we won the game, I was just deflated at the final whistle. I know it's probably different from you guys in the stands because you're there and, you know, feeling the atmosphere firsthand. But for me, I was deflated at the final whistle just because of what happened at West Ham mainly.
Yeah, I think it was bittersweet. Definitely. I think most people inside the ground weren't thinking about West Ham at that moment. Everyone was aware West Ham won, but we weren't really thinking about it. It was more about just maybe because these fans have been going for the last 118 days or longer, obviously longer, but they've been going for the last 118 days and not seen a win. And so just the very face fact that we saw a win, you know, we could have been already relegated yesterday and we probably would have celebrated that victory. You know what I mean? Just because it means a lot.
Yeah, I get it.
Seeing a victory. And,
I get it.
We saw after the game, the fans were, you know, chanting outside the ground, and it was a
jubilant atmosphere.
It was a jubilant atmosphere. But I definitely think, I mean, you could maybe came across in my post-match video, like, it was definitely bittersweet for me. Just, I think more to be honest.
I watched your post-match video. You seemed absolutely buzzing, to be fair.
I think I said it was a weird feeling. Like, yeah. I mean, I was delighted, but it was bittersweet in the sense that, to be fair, for me, it wasn't actually the West Ham result that made it bittersweet. It was more the injuries that we got. And what cost that's going to bring to us.
100%.
And I think with Xavi and Solanke both being out, we already know how short we are on the forward line. Our two players, I know that they weren't having great games, but regardless, they're two very important players for us. So for them to be missing the run-in is absolutely, if they are, we'll have to wait and see. It's gutting, it's massive. And now we're relying potentially on a front three of probably, you're thinking Moani, Tel and Richarlison, unless any surprises come. That's going to be our front three, and that's just, you know, you don't look at that front three thinking, you know, that's going to get us out of a relegation fight. We're going to have to somehow get through these next 4 games by hook or by crook, and it's going to be without even more quality than we had before, which is a scenario which seems very, very difficult to envisage, if I'm being honest. I think that was really what made it a bit bittersweet for me. But obviously West Ham winning as well. If we could have just finished outside the relegation zone for the day and really have that win, have reward for that win, I think that would have meant even more.
I think it would have been a momentum shift in this race, and now it's just kind of back to square one as we were, just with one less game, which, you know. But look, on the game, there's not really much to talk about. It was a game of very few moments and very few things happening. I actually thought Spurs once again started the game well. Started the game with a lot of energy. I thought Moani down the right-hand side was causing problems for the first 5 or however many minutes it was. I thought Solanke was causing a lot of problems as well for the opening stages. And then I kind of felt just like as the first half wore on, Spurs just like decreased in energy, decreased in intensity, and we just started giving Wolves a bit more hope in the game as the first half wore on. But, you know, Moani, again, like, so poor. Obviously, he got hooked off at half-time, but I mentioned he started the game well, and he did for the first 5 minutes or so, you know, causing problems down that right-hand side. But then just this stupid passing and under-hit passes and over-hit everything that he touched just went to shit after that. Like, the guy, I mean, the most frustrating thing about these injuries is now is that we're going to have to persist with Moani. Like, I felt something switched in De Zerbi at half-time where he hauled him off. I'm like, all right, cool. Now for the next game, we're going to go for Tel on the right. We're going to go for Xavi on the left. And now, obviously, we can't do that with Xavi's injury. And Moani's going to probably have to play for these final 4 games. So that's also really hard to take because I did feel like finally De Zerbi saw what we've all been seeing.
Well, Zerbi said he's going to have to take him out for lunch
breakfast and dinner every day.
Every day he's going to have to give him meals to try and get him back to his best because he's clearly lost confidence and he's lost belief in himself. And that's the situation which is leading to a lot of these, either that or it's this unconscious thing where he's not giving his all because he knows he's not going to be here next season.
But I felt like he was, like, for the first 5-10 minutes, he was going at 1,000,000 miles an hour and he was pressing really well and he was getting himself in good positions, and then it just all fell off a cliff.
Well, games are longer than 5-10 minutes.
I know.
They? So, you know, it's all well and good, you know, him playing well 5 minutes. But, yeah, he's had 3 managers now. None of them have been able to know what the problems are with him and how exactly to get the best out of him. Obviously, I was signed under Tudor. And there were even signs, especially in the Champions League under Frank, that he could be a good player for us. But no one's been able to get a consistent tune. Now, what we do with that, how we kind of move forward with that, we're going to have to find a way. Now, he deserves to be saying he watches YouTube, watches Scout to see his best positions. He's trying everything. He's going to be taking out for meals. He's going to be showing him love. He can see what a great player he is. You know, he saw clips of him at Frankfurt and what a good player he was, playing off the right-hand side as well. He said, look, at Frankfurt, he played off the right, and he was brilliant. And he was scoring goals and getting assists.
A long time ago that now, isn't it?
Well, no, I know, but that's what he said. He said, you know, there's a player there. How can we get that? How can we get that player back? So we're going to have to rely on him on these next 4 games, and there's no evidence to suggest that we can ever get that player for 4 games that we haven't been able to get for the past 40 or whatever 50 games we've had this season.
Yeah.
But if De Zerbi is going to keep us in this league, I think he's going to need to. He's going to need to get something out.
I know, and that's the kind of thing that I find really hard about it, because there's just nothing in his performances that can suggest that he can help us get out of this thing. That's the problem.
Well, there's nothing about Tottenham that made us suggest we could stay up, and now we're 4 points in 2 and give ourselves half a chance at least.
Yeah, but we are still in the relegation zone with Villa away to come, which obviously, look, we'll get into that. But in terms of the game at half-time, like, how are you feeling at half-time? Because I was just feeling like in another day, if Spurs weren't in this predicament, I'd be like, all right, fine, 0-0 at Wolves, we go again second half. But like, I was looking at it, and me and Ash were just saying, like, we're getting worse in this game. Like, from the start to the end of the first half, it's like kind of a downward spiral, and we're getting worse and worse. Belief seems to be sapping out of this team, and I just couldn't see a way that actually Spurs were actually going to get the result.
Yeah, you know, I was getting really frustrated in that first half. Obviously, we were cheering for the team, we were singing songs, we were supporting, but there was just a clear kind of attitude of there's just nothing happening in this game. Like, we weren't creating any chances. We were getting very easily frustrated on the pitch. We weren't ever looking close to scoring in that first half. It was really difficult to see how we were going to get any goals. Obviously, we dominated possession, didn't we? And we had lots of the ball, lots of passes. That was all fine. Like, I think we actually controlled the game okay in the first half. I don't remember too many times Wolves getting near our goal.
No.
Like, unlike in the second half where they did have a few scary moments. So that was fine, and you kind of got the feeling if we can just somehow get get a goal or get basically if we can get something in our way, it's going to be very difficult for Wolves to get back in this game. But the longer the half went on, the harder it was to see us scoring. The minutes were ticking on. It was like I don't think we had a shot on target, did we, in that first half? We barely had a shot, did we? I mean, I can't remember too many shots we had in that first half off the top of my head.
No, I think we had 3 shots or something in the first half. Not really many on target.
Moani had one. I remember Moani having one, which was well wide. Can't remember anyone else.
Yeah, there weren't many. There weren't many.
And
we had 5 shots, but the goalkeeper didn't force the goalkeeper into any saves or anything like that.
Yeah, and it didn't look like we were going to score. But also, it was a weird one. It was horrible, don't get me wrong. But it also had the feeling like it just need one moment.
Yeah, 100%.
And even though we're not playing well...
Wolves weren't offering anything themselves.
Even though we're not playing well, even though we're looking nervy and anxious, if we just get one moment, if we get one goal, that could be enough to win this game. And the longer that went on, even though Wolves were getting more and more in the game in the second half, like always that moment, that feeling was still there. Just one moment. Yeah,
100%. And I think Porro, defensively, I thought we did really well. I thought Van de Ven barely put a foot wrong the whole game. I thought he was so dominant in the air and on the ground. Jed Spence, he started the game pretty well down the left-hand side, causing problems, but then he waned in attacking influence. Apart from the first 5-10 minutes, he had no attacking influence for the rest of the game. But defensively, I thought, Van de Ven was doing a good job protecting his side on the left-hand side. Pedro Porro defensively did his job. Like all the defenders did their job really well defensively. Basuma was doing a good job protecting the back four. Bentancur was doing well with that composure and, pulling the strings in the middle of the park, kind of running that game. But it's the attacking influence that these players have. Like Pedro Porro, I was getting so frustrated with him, with the poor crosses that he was putting in, and just so many wasted opportunities from our players. We don't have any. Like Javi as well was frustrating me. Like there was no one to take that game by the scruff of the neck and be like, look, I'm going to be the one to create a chance here. I'm going to be the one to have a shot and have a dig and put it in the back of the net. Like, our attacking play seems like non-existent.
Well, this is what I was saying before the game. It's people got to realise that Brighton game is going to be very different to this game.
Yeah, that's true.
The Brighton game, all our chances, all the positivity, all came pretty much from us pressing, from us catching them out. They were the ones in possession. We were kind of waiting for them and then going and we were forcing mistakes from pressing and stuff like that. This game we were going to have a lot of the ball. We were always going to dominate possession, and Wolves were always going to ask different questions. And as well, because they're playing a back three, it was actually always going to be a lot harder to press them because they had a lot more options in their back line to get out of trouble. And I don't remember too many. I mean, I don't want to make too many excuses, but obviously it was a very hot day. So I do wonder whether the amount of running and the pressing and how intense that press was affected by that, because we didn't seem like at all effective in our pressing. Or maybe it was just because of the fact the Wolves were playing a back three and the fact that they had those more options to avoid our press, which made it a lot more difficult to force mistakes like we did against Brighton. But you look at the game against Brighton, all of our chances were forcing mistakes pretty much and pouncing on them. Wolves weren't going to allow that. They were just playing long every time. They were not allowing us to press them. They had more outs. So whenever we had to whenever we kind of had possession, we weren't finding any openings like we were against Brighton. Brighton were a lot braver in how they played against us. So in this kind of game, it was very difficult. It was very difficult to find any sort of quality. And it was very similar to Sunderland, to be honest. Very similar. Like, they just shut us out and we weren't ever looking close to scoring. And the only time we ever looked close to scoring were kind of set pieces or... there was one moment where Xavi nearly scored, wasn't he? That was our best chance.
That was Porro's best moment in the game offensively, and that was Javi's best moment in the game offensively. Like, Xavi did all the hard work, didn't he? And, just guide that ball into the bottom corner. But he couldn't do it, unfortunately. And this is what I'm saying about Pedro Porro. Has probably the best passer that we got, and he needs to be making more out of it. Like, this passing and this crossing is nowhere near to his level, in my opinion. He's capable of so much more, and you saw that with that pass to Xavi. He needs to be doing that more.
Good set pieces, though.
Yeah, they were decent set pieces. Obviously, we scored from a set piece.
Nearly scored well. Bentancur.
Yeah, that was a brilliant. I mean, by the way, Bentancur, our best player once again. Like, this guy has come in and he's really added a new lease of life to this midfield. He really has. We've missed him so much more than we probably thought before the Brighton game, but he's so important to us, isn't he? It's like incredibly important to us. Like, if he gets a recurring injury now, the last 4 games, that's it. We're completely done. But he was fantastic again yesterday.
Yeah, so great to have him back. And I think he's really followed up his performances. I don't think he was as good in this one as against Brighton, but I thought he was really good.
Yeah,
I think, again,
I agree with that.
Middle. Although I did think Gomez and Andre at times gave us a bit of a tough time, and we struggled to really play through the middle. We were kind of focused on playing down the wide areas, it seemed. But I thought Bentancur, the shielding was brilliant. And I think on the ball just didn't do anything wrong, really. I think against Brighton he was a bit braver on the ball, to be honest, but he was fine. It was fine. It was just a difficult game, man. We all knew, like, Wolves going into this game, they've got a good home record and the pressure's off them. But I didn't feel like... It was quite similar to how they played in the other games, to be fair, but against like Liverpool and Arsenal and where they weren't even that good, but I think Arsenal and Liverpool both kind of took their foot off the gas in this game. I just think, from our point of view, for us, we just weren't good enough to really make the most of the fact that they didn't seem to... that on it. I thought Wolves, they obviously they're gone. They're relegated. They're obviously trying, but they weren't playing particularly well. Like, it wasn't like they
it was a very low quality game of football. Low quality. Yeah, extremely low. The
difference between us and the Liverpool and Arsenal games is they were much better than Wolves, and they just complacency allowed Wolves to get a result. Obviously, we won, but it was the reason why we very nearly didn't was just we weren't good enough. Like,
look, that was a 0-0 game, wasn't it? That was a 0-0 game.
I think if anyone was going to win, I would say we probably just about shaded it. But I mean, Wolves. I mean, that second half was very even, wasn't it? Yeah. Very even.
I think with the first half, I felt like we were dominating possession. The amount of passes that we were putting together without really hurting, Wolves. I think there's probably, in terms of passing, our biggest passage of passing that we've had all season. Which is crazy. Like the amount of passes that we were putting together was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I mean, we had...
It's like for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah, we had a lot of passing moves, and there were some nice combinations, but I think, I've heard this about De Zerbi when, I think it was Kevin Prince Boateng was saying, when first of all, when teams come and press you, or when you're in build-up, the patterns are brilliant, and it's like really nice, and it's easy to like play, and you find those spaces, and he's unbelievable in build-up. But as soon as you get to the final third, and as soon as it's a low block, that's when the troubles come. Obviously, to be honest, that's the hardest thing in football in general, is playing as a low block. That's why teams do it, because it's very hard to break down, and it's very hard for teams to score against you. That's why every manager who picks up a side in a relegation battle, the first thing they do is they go into a low block, and they make it very difficult to score, because it is hard to score. So I don't think it's anything revolutionary to say once teams go in a low block, it's tougher to score against. So that's just natural. But I think for us, the ways you break down a low block is you either are so good with your combinations, you somehow in tight spaces open up a team inside the penalty area, even though, like Ryan Cherky, right, against Arsenal.
Yeah.
But you need that special
He's one
ability.
in a million, though, isn't he?
Or you do what Xavi did. I mean, it wasn't low block, but you do what Xavi did against Brighton. You shoot it from 25 yards, top corner. Basically, either you need individual moments of quality. You need to be like either Barca 2011, where you're just doing unbelievable tiki-taka football, or you need to be unbelievable from set pieces. Those are the only ways kind of you break down those low blocks. And that's why in that first half, as much as we had all this pretty football, at times anyway, a lot of the time I just felt like it was football because Wolves weren't really pressing us. We just allowed the ball. And as soon as we got into the final third, we offered very little.
Yeah.
And Wolves were able to contain us.
Yeah, you're right. And it'll be a different game against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that gives me a little bit of hope going into the next 4 games. But, going into the second half, I really thought De Zerbi was going to light, me and Ash were saying it on a watch-along, De Zerbi's got to light a rocket up these guys' arses. And I think we came out worse at the start of the second half than we did in the first. We really did. And then we started to get ourselves into the game. Xavi had that chance. We had that chance from a corner. And then you found out West Ham scored the goal, and you're thinking, oh my days, this is literally just going from bad to worse. There is no chance of Spurs scoring here. West Ham have scored. Spurs need to find something from somewhere. And where the hell is this goal coming from? And it's just hard to figure it out, hard to see it, hard to envisage it. And then we got a hero, didn't we? João Palhinha. Fifth goal this season, and the catalogue of goals he's got as well this season is incredible. Obviously, the corner comes in, the shot from Richarlison, who I thought Richarlison was woeful up until that point. He was offering absolutely nothing. And then João Palhinha gambled at the back post and put the ball in the back of the net. And I just did not see that goal coming. I did not see that goal coming at all, but it came. And it came at the right time as well.
82nd minute, as you say, when maybe belief started to wane.
And you know what? I don't know if you saw my watch-along highlights, but just before that goal went in, I said on the watch-along, God, if you're listening now, please give us something. Please, just give us something. I started praying, and it came.
And then, unbelievable. You need to pray more.
I know.
You start going to shore again. Yeah, I think at that moment, as I said, like there was always that belief that one moment can win this game. And even though we never looked like scoring, obviously to be fair, from set pieces, I did think we looked quite dangerous on occasion. Like, obviously we needed to score Bentancur, as we said before. We had a couple of moments. So whenever a set piece came, there was always that little bit of belief, like anything can happen. We have been good from corners this season. So even though we haven't looked like scoring, you can just win it off a set piece, and that can be enough. So there was that little bit of excitement. And by the way, unbelievable work from Tell to win that corner. Unbelievable work from him.
It looked like he'd lost the ball, like so placidly, and then suddenly he has the ball back and he's won a corner.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant, like because it was going off and he somehow saves it and then turned his man and then won the corner. I thought it was brilliant work from him. He deserves a lot of credit. But as long as you're able to be a threat like we have from set pieces, it always keeps the game alive. Always. Yeah. That's kind of how Frank won a lot of his games early on. We were just playing shit, but get winning games off set pieces. So there was a little bit of kind of excitement, the fact that we got a corner, and because we looked threatening before, and then obviously it absolutely went off in the away end when we did get that goal. Unbelievable scenes. It was a great moment, and yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great goal. Obviously, for me, to be honest, personally, I saw that the Wolves players started to surround the referee as soon as the goal went in, and so I was like, oh God, are they going to chalk this out and chalk this off?
We didn't celebrate at first.
You thought it was definitely offside?
Yeah, we didn't celebrate at first. We got up and we were like, we didn't know whether to celebrate or not. I thought it was offside. That's what you thought it was Van de Ven that scored the goal as well.
Yeah, it was hard to see down that end. Yeah, but it looked like I thought it was Van de Ven, but it ended up being Paulinho. But obviously the goal went in. But I was like, I think that it's offside here.
I thought it was going to be offside.
I was like, this is like the Wolves players are clearly incensed. Like it looked like, I mean, from my view, I couldn't really see obviously, but he was obviously free at the back post, and a lot of the times you can be like an inch over the line or whatever. So when the goal was given, massive relief for me, and then all of a sudden, there was like another celebration, and then as we said before, West Ham conceded a few minutes later, which was also incredible. But yeah,
in the celebrations for us, that's the moment when Everton had that penalty shout as well. It was literally, we were celebrating the goal, and I'm looking at the screen, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? He's got his hands underneath his thing, and he's put the ball up like that.
Playing volleyball.
I'm like, how? How is that not a penalty?
That's ridiculous. It was
I just don't get it.
Astounding.
Like, we keep talking every week about these refereeing decisions, and everything is going against us. I'm surprised that they didn't find a way to chalk that goal off or offside, you know what I mean? And also, we didn't talk about the Basuma, the sending off of Basuma as well on Andre. He's got 2 feet, studs. Yeah, fine, it's not high, but it's a dangerous tackle, and it should have been a sending off.
Yeah, obviously, I didn't really see it in the ground. I've seen replays now.
We were incensed. Right there, right then, it should have been a sending off. I was going mad.
Yeah, that looked on the replays. I was a red, and then he got away with one again. All the decisions have been going against us. Even again this weekend, it's a ridiculous situation. And I mean, we just got to not rely on them at this point, because everything seems to be not every 50-50. Every decision seems to not be going in our favour. So what can we do about it? It's kind of just like we have to...
But it's just like, it's mental how big these decisions are and how wrong they are. Like,
and also, especially with our players, every little thing we're getting sent off for.
You know what I mean? If Romero makes that challenge that Andre did, he's probably getting a 5-game ban or something. It's crazy.
And
it is crazy, the double standards that are being shown right now against Tottenham.
And Javi got sent off, and then other players do exactly the same challenge about 3 or 4 times, and nothing's given. Like, the amount of inconsistencies that have gone against Tottenham, I don't know what it is. A lot of people saying, is it unconscious bias because they want Tottenham
I think 100%.
Is it conscious bias because they've got something against Spurs, so they're actively working against us? We've just seen the panel, didn't we, yesterday on Friday, confirmed that Brian Brobby should have been sent off and wasn't. Rob Jones, by the way, same referee who the panel said got wrong with Rodri, who should have been sent off against Tottenham in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for a second yellow. It's the second time he's done that against us now. And now, I'm sure in a week's time we're going to hear the panel got this one wrong as well, that he should have been sent off. Like, the whole thing's ridiculous.
And the penalty, they'll say as well.
And the penalty, Everton. For sure, they'll say that was a mistake. Like, all these refereeing mistakes. The mad thing is, how come it's so consistently against us?
It's mad. Apparently, what Ash Batic was telling me, that on Sky Sports, on Monday Night Football, they're going to be going through all the wrong decisions against us, apparently.
Are they?
That's what Ash said. I think on Monday Night Football on Sky Sports at some day, they're going to be highlighting it.
Jesus, they're making an hour-long show on all our...
Well, they're going to be having a segment.
I'm joking.
They probably can do an hour-long show on it. That's the thing. But...
Who's going to be held accountable?
The thing is, right, I think this could actually be a really good thing for us if they do highlight it live on Sky Sports, because that's going to show them for what they are, and they actually might start giving us a few decisions in these last 4 games.
I hope so, because there needs to be a bloody panorama on it.
And Spurs need to be making more of a fuss about it. Why are we just so placidly taking this? You know what I mean? Just sitting back and not making any fuss about it whatsoever.
But the mad thing with refereeing consistencies are like, there are inconsistencies. Some go for you and some go against you. But every single week, for other clubs and for us, they're going against us. They're going for our relegation rivals every week, and it's going against us every week. The whole thing is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, how can it be possible? We're getting penalised for pushing the back, yet people can push us in the back and no, that doesn't get penalised. Romero puts a slightly higher challenge, in immediate red. Same different player does it in the next week, no red. Xavi scrapes someone's ankle, immediate red. Foden does it, no red. The whole thing is absolutely insane. We haven't had one penalty this whole season. 0 penalties for Tottenham Hotspur this season. When was the last time that happened to a club? 0 penalties.
God knows.
West Ham can play volleyball in their penalty area, nothing given, and yet, we're left to pick up the pieces.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I've just never seen such one-way refereeing before in my life against a football club. I really haven't. You saw it back against when Leicester won the league. They were getting decisions, but I've never seen it so firmly against the football club so consistently over a course of a whole season as well.
And you know what? As we said before, like with how bad we are, how many injuries we've had, you just need that little bit of luck in these scenarios. Obviously, we did win yesterday, so.
But it felt like that momentum shift was actually happening yesterday when we scored. A few minutes later, West Ham conceded, and you're thinking, all right, maybe, something is going our way for once, and then even that didn't. So it's just so frustrating.
And then, by the way, in the last minute, Kinsky.
Oh, my day. God bless Antonin Kinsky, man. You don't understand the anxiety and the stress. You probably do because you were there at the game. Like, as soon as the free kick was given, I was like, oh, fuck. This is just so classic Tottenham, this rifle into the top corner. João Gomez steps up, and I'm like, João Gomez never scores free kicks. Never. He hits a worldie. An absolute worldie. I'm like, where the hell has that come from João Gomez? And luckily for us, Kinsky. And by the way, we've been saying it every week about Antonin Kinsky. The mental strength and toughness, this guy, to come back from that Atletico shock horror when he got taken off after 15, 20 minutes, to come back and to put in the performances he has over the last 3 games is nothing short of phenomenal. And I've said it and I'll say it again, he needs to be our keeper for the rest of the season. He adds so much to us, not because he saved us yesterday, but on the ball he adds so much to us. He looks so confident in everything that he does. He has not put a hand or a foot wrong since he's been the first choice keeper in the last 3 games. He is the number 1 for me now. I don't want to see Vicario back in the team.
And if Vicario is struggling with a hernia as well, why take Kinsky out when someone who needs to recover? So for me, Kinsky's been brilliant. Also bailed out Danso. Danso nearly gave away a goal, and Kinsky had to be the rescue again. Absolutely brilliant from him. He's also so much more assured with the ball at his feet. Like, he really is. He's just so much calmer. You don't get panicked when he's playing out from the back in the same way Vicario does. And he's just been brilliant. Again, it was just like the Brighton and the Sunderland games. You have to say he didn't have that much to do in terms of how busy he was. But I think, obviously, he seems to be making more and more saves as the games go on. Sunderland, I don't think he made a single save. And then Brighton, he made 1 brilliant save. And then this time, he made a couple of really good moments. Again, set pieces, really good. Another really strong showing from him. I actually think in SofaScore gave him man of the match on the stats, but I don't know who did actually get man of the match. I don't know. Was there an official one? I don't know. But
I'm not sure. I think it might have been Paulinho. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, Kinsky had a great shout because I thought he had a phenomenal game again. And yeah, for me, he starts against Villa, no question about it.
Yeah.
He starts against Villa.
I think my man of the match, I think I gave it to Bentancur again. But yeah, Kinsky, it was a match-winning save. It was a match-winning save. That's all you got to say about it. It was fantastic, phenomenal. And that's the thing where we criticised Kinsky before, we came into the team 3 weeks ago about Vicario having that over him in terms of his shot-stopping ability. But every time that's been called into question these last 3 games, he's passed with flying colours.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had too many unbelievable saves to make. I mean, again, that one was really good.
He's had like one in each game where, he's had a shot to save and... we're talking about Butterfingers here where he's let in some real shockers.
He has. I don't think he's been asked too many questions as of yet, if I'm being completely honest. I think he's done well. Don't get me wrong. I think I've got no problem with him, and I think we're right to praise him. I don't think we should go overboard and say he's solved his problems of shot stopping just yet, because I don't think he's been asked some of the questions he was asked in the games where he conceded some goals where he shouldn't have. he hasn't been asked those same questions just yet, I would say.
The reality, yeah, fine, that's fair to say. But the reality is when Vicario's in goal and we were trying, he just puts us under so much pressure in a lot of games. And you just don't get that with Kinsky. You just don't. So I'm so happy with him. And like I said, like to come back after that Atletico Madrid game, everyone's saying Kinsky's career at Spurs is done. You know, everyone's saying this guy, you know, he's a terrible keeper, he's this, he's that. And now everyone's saying, you know, he should be at number one. So
great. I mean, I'm glad he hasn't let that game against Atletico define him, like a lot of other players in similar situations where they let it affect them too much and they never truly recover. We've seen it with other keepers. So he's a young keeper, clearly got a very good head on his shoulders. So I'm delighted for him, and I really hope he just continues and gets a run from now to the end of the season and keeps going. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, up and downs yesterday, like literally to the max. We've won our first game in 118 days. That's got to be seen as a massive positive.
Yeah.
However, we do end up the day pretty much the same as we started with, because West Ham got that win against Everton, and you're just thinking
and
like
Forest as well on Friday night.
Forest
5-0.
blew Sunderland away at the Stadium of Light. So that means we are 6 points behind Leeds, 5 points behind Forest, and 2 points behind West Ham going into the final 4 games of the season. Are Leeds completely out of this? I know they got Burnley at home to play, but they've still got West Ham and Spurs to play.
Yeah. I mean, from that point of view, if they lose both those games, all of a sudden they're very much in it, depending on other results. So, if I'm Leeds, I'm not taking anything for granted. But I think, look, if you ask me if they lose every game between now and the end of the season, are they staying up? I think they can still go down. So they do need another result. I think one win against Burnley probably does it. But if they don't win that game, then all of a sudden they're still in trouble. Same with Forest, big win. But look, I'm not saying it's likely, but if we do beat Villa, right, they go into that Chelsea game with us only 2 points behind, regardless of what West Ham do. So then they need to either win or draw, or they need to win against Chelsea to make it within 2 games again, or if they draw, it's all of a sudden 1 game. So they're not completely out of it now, Forest, thanks to our win. But if I'm being completely objective about the situation, if I'm a rival fan watching us yesterday, I don't think I saw a team that is going to win another 2 or 3 games out of the next 4. That's not what I saw. I'm not saying it won't happen. And as you say, sometimes it just needs a result like that to completely change your fortunes, and all of a sudden that weight lifted off your shoulders, and all of a sudden you can gain momentum with the snowball. The positivity's there, the relief it was there for everyone to see from the Tottenham players. All of a sudden, do we go to Villa a lot more confident? They're going to be resting players with the Europa League semi-final. I'm pretty sure they're going to be resting some players. So all of a sudden, could we go there and actually put in a much better performance? Could we actually go there and win? Could this be the moment that sparked us? I mean, it's very, very possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen. You've got to hopefully believe that's what's going to happen. In a weird way, maybe a win like that is what is perfect for us, because it shows we can grind out a victory in difficult circumstances when we're not playing well, which is probably what we're going to need over the next 4 games, because we're probably not going to be playing that well over these next 4 games. So in a weird way, is that the perfect kind of win? Because we're probably not going to be playing the pretty football over these next 4 games. So to expect us to blow teams away and win 3 or 4-0 or whatever, or win by outplaying oppositions, is at this point fanciful. Yeah. So maybe that is exactly what we needed, to show that we can win with a set piece or whatever it is, grind it out and show the fight, over the next 3 games. But on the flip side, when you watch West Ham, especially Forest, even Leeds, against United and who they beat, Wolves, those were teams, and even Bournemouth, they got a good draw. Those were teams, when you watch them, they do look like teams who are going to be winning 2 or 3 over the next 4. Yeah. So when you compare that to us, as much as the positivity of getting a win, I'm sure is going to be big, is it enough? That's the question. Is it enough? Because it might not be.
If you look at it objectively, like you say, like it seems like it is just between us and West Ham now. But anything can happen, and Forest and Leeds still need to do their job and still need to do the business. So if they go into these games assuming that they're already up, which they probably won't, then it could be danger signs for them if they think the job's done. Forest do have other things to look at. Leeds also. I mean, they're in an FA Cup semi-final today, so we'll see what happens there. But they do have other things to think about, whereas Spurs and West Ham, it's just about relegation. But I do feel that it is just between Spurs and West Ham now. I do. And, you know, yesterday was gutting, like I said, not just because of the West Ham game. It's mainly because of the injuries, like you mentioned, because how do we win these games? How do we go in and attack, and how do we provide a threat on the opposition? We were saying after the Brighton game, Javi's the only guy in our team with that X factor that's able to break down defences, pick a lock, even shoot from outside the area, provide that moment in a game. He's probably gone for the rest of the season. Solanke, I don't think, has been great since he's come back from injury, barring a couple of games at the beginning. So, but Richarlison hasn't really exactly pulled down any trees since when he's played either. So, who are we turning to in this forward line to be like, you're the guy to get us out of it? Because I can't think of many. Like Matisse Tell, you know, as much as he looks busy at times, he hasn't shown the ability to be able to get us out of this. Mawani definitely hasn't. Richarlison, you know, he's our top goal scorer, but still in recent form, he's not exactly on great form. So who are these players that are magically going to get us out of this? Whereas you're looking at West Ham, they do seem to have match winners in their team with the likes of Jarrod Bowen. I know he's not been great, but, you know, he's still got it in him to get West Ham out of a scrap and out of a game. Somerville, he's been brilliant. You know, West Ham have got these players and they've got their first choice attacking players that they can turn to. We just don't. We've got a depleted squad, depleted forward line. You know, the three players that we started with in the forward line were nowhere to be seen in the second half because two of them went down injured and one of them had a stinker and hooked. So who are we turning to? Are we just relying on set pieces and trying to press high from the front? And if we are trying to rely on pressing high from the front, then surely we go for Gallagher and Lucas Bergvall. As you know, Ash was saying on the post-match fan show, you know, we were trying to think about which kind of ways that we can go in, and I thought it was a decent idea maybe to go with Richarlison up top with Bergvall and Conor Gallagher as maybe two number 10s behind them and ditch the wingers because we got no wingers, and then play a Paulinho in the midfield because he's the one that has shown actually that he can put the ball in the back of the net and a big threat from set pieces alongside of Rodrigo Bentancur. And I know at the first half of the season we say we don't want to see Bentancur and Paulinho don't work, but we're kind of past all that, trying to play pretty football and trying to play nice football. We need to be effective, and what's effective is set pieces, and our biggest set piece threat definitely from midfield are going to be Paulinho and Bentancur. Bentancur has shown an ability to win the ball in the box with his headers and set pieces all season. Paulinho has scored 5 goals this season, and Bergvall and Conor Gallagher have proved that they can press and they can press effectively. So is this our best way to go?
What do you suggest? So what back three?
So we were suggesting I guess. I don't know. We were just thinking about 2 number 10s, maybe with Paulinho, maybe with Conor Gallagher as a box-to-box, maybe a pressing box-to-box kind of thing, as a 4-3-3. As a Paulinho, Bentancur, Gallagher. Maybe with Bergvall.
And Tell on the right?
Bergvall coming in a bit central, and that's assuming that Destiny Udogie can play. So Bergvall in the kind of Javi position where he's kind of floating in the number 10 position. Conor Gallagher as the box-to-box, where Conor Gallagher and Bergvall can go and press, and then Tell on the right.
I mean, potentially. I mean, I'm listening to what De Zerbi's been saying. He said he doesn't want too many changes, and he wants to try and keep some sort of continuity, because we've had a lot of changes this season, and I think he fell on a formula against Brighton, which he thinks, okay, this can work. So he's going to want to try and keep it as similar to that as possible. But, as you said, we have now 2 injuries. Obviously, that takes the dynamic completely away. I think, for me, the best way, I just think, is you go Mawani on the right, you go Tell on the left, you go Richarlison up front, and then Gallagher, keep him in the 10. You keep Basuma and Bentancur in the double pivot. And I think that's probably the best way to go, and you try and get the best out of that. I think those guys can press. I don't know. I mean, because I think in that scenario, at least you have Tell and you have Richarlison in their best positions, and De Zerbi is look, no one can get anything out of Moani at the moment, but he's hoping he can get something out of him playing on the right. But I probably think I'd rather than that than shoehorning. At that point, you're shoehorning Tellin, you're shoehorning Bergvall in. I don't know. And as well, with Paulinho, I think having him as a super sub is probably his best. That's his best position, to be honest, at the moment. I think him coming on late in games if we need him to either be a set piece threat or get us with the energy he's got winning the ball. Because I think, as much as it's not about pretty football, but keeping the ball isn't about being pretty. That is about being effective. Having an ability to keep the ball and keep possession. And I don't think having Paulinho in our midfield is the best way for that. I think him being a sub at the moment is the best. So if I'm predicting what we would do, that's what I think we'll do.
I'm not saying predicting, but what do you actually want to see?
Yeah,
do you actually want to see Moani continue? Because I don't. I don't want to see Moani continue.
I also don't want to see Bergvall on the left.
Yeah, that's fine, but Moani, what does he actually add?
Not much. Look, don't get me wrong. It's a choice between really two or however many bad options. There's no good options here. We are without all our best attackers. So there is no option here which I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, that's what I want to see. But what's necessary? I think in this situation, I think the best course of action, I think, is probably put Tell on the left, Morley on the right, and Richarlison up front. That is probably the best course of action, I would say.
I don't know. It just feels like we're playing with 10 men whenever Moani's on the pitch. Like, I can't sit here and say the best course of action is going to play Moani because he adds absolutely nothing. At least if Bergvall was to play, you know he's going to add that fight, that spirit, that endeavour, that ability to press, you know? And I know it's completely a wrong position, but I think we'd be able to win the ball high up the pitch a lot more if Bergvall's starting there in a central kind of off the left or maybe even off the right, wherever it may be, and put Tell on the left. Then to put a Moani there, because Moani just adds absolutely nothing. At least with Bergvall, yeah, look, he's not ideal, but we're not in an ideal situation right now.
We've played Bergvall in that position, he's offered very little.
And we've played Moani in that position, he's offered even less.
I'm just saying, like, okay, Bergvall, for example, played in the 10 against Sunderland. Did he offer any more than what Moani's
He had an especially bad game against Sunderland, Bergvall. We all know that. You know, that's not what he is. But what Moani is kind of what he's been all season. That's the reality.
I just think we're going to have to rely on him, in my opinion. I think we have to. I think we have to just play him and hope that's our best course of action, rather than shoehorning Bergvall in that side. I think our best course of action is to hope Moani we can get something out of him. Because if we can, then all of a sudden we have a decent player there. Now we haven't been able to, so the likelihood is we probably won't. But I think, given the options here,
but we've tried it for 34 games. We're 34 games into a season. Surely, if he's literally showed nothing in the Premier League
he's
for 34 games
every day.
Yeah, great.
Zerbi thinks he can take him out for lunch and gas him up and thinks he can get more out of him. I'd rather give that a go. I really would. And I just think a front three especially against Villa, who we know are going to be playing a high line, probably going to leave that space in behind. You kind of need a player like Moani in that game. Obviously, you need him doing what we know he can do, but if we can get him in behind, that's one of the avenues we can attack them. But if we put Bergvall there, all of a sudden, it's one of those avenues taken away, I feel.
Yeah, on the ball, that avenue's taken away, but off the ball, he's going to have the ability to actually nick the ball high up the pitch. And Moani doesn't seem to do that. And I think if we're going to score goals with the players that we've got available, I think the only way we're going to score is nicking the ball high up the pitch or set pieces. I don't think we're going to score any other way.
It's not bad. It's not. Yeah, you might be right. You might well be right.
But we're not going to get the ball in behind to Moani, and Moani's not going to get there. And if he does get there, he's probably not going to score. So that's just me. Like I think the only way we're going to score is set piece or nicking the ball high up the pitch, and I think that's the only way we have scored this season, pretty much. Like, how many other goals have we scored this season? Variation. We haven't. So that's why I think just play to those strengths. Play the best presses in the team and play the players that are most suited to winning the ball in the box and being able to score from set pieces. Play for those set pieces. You know? I think that's the only shot that we've got.
I just think you play players strikers and forwards lines in the forward positions.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in an ideal world, I would. In an ideal world, I would. But we're not in an ideal world right now. We're in a tough situation.
I agree.
So,
look, I think he is going to play Moani.
I agree. I do think he's going to play Moani, but I just don't want to see Moani. I really don't. I think we're playing with 10 men when we do. He's absolutely shocking. But look, if we're judging these next 4 games, West Ham go Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Leeds at home. How many points are they getting?
Who, West Ham?
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a point at Brentford.
Yeah, neither would I. I think that's got a draw written all over it.
Yeah.
Brentford are the draw specialists in the Premier League.
Yeah. I do think Arsenal beat them. Now, St. James is interesting.
You know what? I just wouldn't put it past those Gooners to lose that game as well. The one time. I'm not even going to say it because I'll never say I want Arsenal to lose. No, yeah, I'd never say I want Arsenal to win. But I wouldn't be mad if Arsenal won that game.
In that game.
I'm telling you, we're going to do a hate-along for that game. I guarantee you I will not be celebrating any Arsenal goals. I guarantee you that. I'll just have a nice little smile on my face.
And then St. James's, I mean, the form they're on, although I thought they looked quite good against Arsenal, but the form they're on, you wouldn't put past West Ham to get something from that game. But I still think right now, I still make Newcastle favourites to get a win over West Ham. And then at the end of the season, it's Leeds. So if I'm predicting...
I think we need to look at the next 3 instead of the next 4, because last day of the season, we want to hope to be outside the relegation zone before the last game of the season. So maybe let's just look at the next 3.
In the next
Can we get more points than them in the next 3 games?
Yes. I don't see... I'll be shocked if they get more than 3.
Are they going to win any of those games? I think the most likely one is probably Newcastle.
Yeah. I think... Yeah, Newcastle, you could say.
Newcastle, by that time, they'll be completely on the beach as well.
But St. James's still has a thing about it.
Does it?
It does.
Does it? They've just lost to Bournemouth there. They've lost to Sunderland there. They've lost 3 games in a row at St. James's.
All those games were very, very close.
They even drew to Barcelona.
The Barca, that's not a bad result.
They beat Man United, lost to Everton, lost to Brentford, they've lost a hell of a lot of games at St James's Park recently.
Yeah, but have they lost to anyone as bad as West Ham?
What, in terms of low down in the league there? Don't think so. They beat Leeds 4-3.
If you look at who they played in the bottom half, have they lost to anyone in the bottom half of the table at home?
No. I mean, recently they haven't played anyone in the bottom half, but they're losing to literally everyone in the top half. They've lost to Villa, Brentford, Everton, City, Sunderland, Bournemouth.
Good teams.
Yeah.
But when they play the worst teams, they usually win.
Yeah, but like kind of the rot has set in now. You know what I mean? Like these are the games. And obviously West Ham are not playing like a bottom half of the team right now. They're not getting results like a bottom half of the table team right now.
But they still are one.
They are one, yeah, of course. But they're on good form.
Look, who knows what will happen? Look. I predict that West Ham don't win that game.
That's fine. I've got more confidence on Brentford taking points off West Ham than I do of Newcastle.
I'm actually not. I have more fire hope than Newcastle do, in a weird way, than Brentford.
I think they get 2 points in those games.
2 draws.
Yeah, I think they'll draw against Brentford, draw against Newcastle, lose against Arsenal.
That would leave us needing 4 points over the next 3.
Yeah, so when you're looking at Spurs' fixtures, we go away to Villa. Villa sandwiched in between Europe. They looked awful against Fulham, by the way, Villa. But at Villa Park, they do seem to be different. We've just got to hope and pray they rest players, right? Because if they go into that game without Morgan Rogers and without their top players, resting them for the second leg, that'll be big for us. And that will give us a possibility. Because Unai won't change the way he plays, regardless of the personnel that he has on the pitch. And if they play that way with a lesser team, I think that gives us a big opportunity.
It does. I mean, I would say right now Villa's second team they're currently playing is could give us a game. And they're going to be playing with a bit of freedom as well because they know they're safe And so I think they're going to try and win the game. It's not like they're going to settle for a draw. They're going to come at us at home. It could be a very open game like the Sunderland game was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. Put it this way: I'm more hopeful if they're playing a second team, but it's not like it makes us favourites or anything.
Yeah.
Maybe a draw.
I think we can win. I genuinely think we can beat Villa.
I don't think we beat Villa.
I think we can. I don't know if we will.
Even a draw sounds a bit deluded, to be honest. If I'm being completely based on even how we played. Yeah. Like, even predicting a draw sounds a bit deluded. But I think maybe we can sneak like a 1-1 or something.
Did you see them against Fulham?
I saw
did
bits
you watch
of
the
it.
game? I thought they were absolutely shocking. Mm-hmm. Fulham should have won that much more comfortably than they did.
Yeah, but also beat Sunderland. I know they gave up a lead, but they scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
They were 3-1 up in that game.
They're a good side, but I do think that European game is coming at the right time for us.
No, I agree. It gives us a chance to get a result.
Yeah. If they didn't have that European game, I would say 100% Villa win. They'll be playing their strongest team. But now there is that little bit of doubt.
I think draw at best. I'll be shocked if we win.
We'll say draw. Can we beat Leeds? Like Leeds, like the way they're playing right now. That's the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the game where you're looking at in the next 3 games.
Had a lot of that to the game.
I know, but this is like, if we're going to be outside of the relegation zone come the last day of the season, we have to beat Leeds.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So we have to win that game. I think we can win that game. I think we can win it.
We ain't going to Chelsea.
They might have a Champions League. They might have an FA Cup final to deal with.
Yeah, but still, that's still quite some way before the FA Cup final, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Isn't it FA Cup final at the end of the season?
No, it's the week before, penultimate.
Is it?
Yeah, it'll be the week after.
So what is it? The same weekend as we play Chelsea?
Yeah, the Chelsea game. If Chelsea get there, the Chelsea game is going to be moved.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, that gives me a bit. So these games are coming at the right time for us then. Hopefully, I mean,
it's one of Leeds or Chelsea in the final, right? So either Leeds are going to rest players, or I don't know if we play Chelsea after or before their final. I think it'll be after.
Let's see what the FA Cup final date is. 16th. Yeah. Okay, so that's the day before we're supposed to play Chelsea. That is 5 days after we play Leeds. We've got Leeds on the Monday night, and they're going to be playing in the FA Cup final on that Saturday.
I think they're saying,
well, if they get there,
I think they're saying if Chelsea win, that Chelsea game is going to be moved to the Tuesday after the final, I think. Does that make sense?
I tell you what,
Tuesday seems a bit soon.
This is massive then for us this game, because we need Leeds to win desperately.
Leeds to win?
We need Leeds to beat Chelsea today.
So that they rest players for that final?
100%. We need Leeds to win. I think regardless, forget the Chelsea game, because Chelsea aren't going to rest players because our game's going to be moved after the FA Cup final, right?
I don't know if it's after or before.
It'll have to be after.
Can't be before, can it?
It can't be before because we're playing Leeds on a Monday night.
Ah, yeah. Good point.
It's going to have to be after. That means we'll have 2 games in the space of a week, the last week of the season. We'll have Chelsea midweek and we'll have Everton on the last day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's what it'll mean.
Exactly, yeah.
So we need Leeds to win today. If Leeds win today, there's a high chance that they rest players against us. Mm-hmm. Because it'll be the same week that they've got the FA Cup final. So we need Leeds to win today, man. It's massive.
At the very least, doesn't matter resting them, at the very least, I might have one eye on it.
Yeah.
Players don't want to get injured for it.
Yeah, exactly. Because Leeds FA Cup final is massive for them. It is humongous. An FA Cup final for Leeds. Yeah. Biggest game in their history. Well, recent history.
So if we can win, so if they do win today and we can beat them, that's 4 points. All of a sudden, if we're saying West Ham only get 2 points, that puts us level points with them already before the Chelsea game.
So, like, if Leeds win today, that means in our next 2 games, we're going to be facing teams that have got massive, massive games in the space of a week after we play. I think that's massive.
It's important, but what's also massive is we don't have any.
We got to do the business, yeah, of course.
That's probably bigger, I would say. Look, the 100% circumstances are falling in our favour, but we still need to win. We need to actually beat these teams, on over 90 minutes, regardless of whether they got one eye on this or one eye on that, or resting players here. That we actually have to go on the pitch and be better than them and win.
Yeah.
And are we going to do that?
And on the flip side, if Chelsea get to the FA Cup final and let's say they win or whatever, they lose the FA Cup final, they know they've probably got nothing to play for these last 2 games. Are they going to take their foot off the gas? Well, probably not, because they're playing against Tottenham and they want to relegate Tottenham. They'll probably turn into like prime Hazard ball Chelsea, you know what I mean? Regardless. So I've got much more faith in Leeds than Chelsea. So let's get Leeds the win today.
But if Chelsea do win, that means that game gets moved to a Tuesday after the final. If they do win, we've seen it before with Chelsea where they've... no, actually it was the opposite. They won the league and they were partying for a whole week and they lost the FA Cup final, I remember. But we've seen it with other teams. It happens so often where a team has a big day in the FA Cup or whatever, and then the following week they don't celebrate. It happened with us, Europa League. We won Europa League, then too busy celebrating, we were obviously battered. Well, we might have got battered anyway, but I think if Chelsea win, is there going to be a hangover?
Very well could be. Very well could be.
Because it's a short turnaround, Saturday to Tuesday. You know, spend the whole weekend celebrating, and then maybe we can have a little sting in the tail.
Yeah. So, I mean, implications could happen either way, whoever wins today. But let's get Leeds to win anyway, because I think that Leeds game is just humongous for us, man. It really is.
And in terms of Forest, look, it's 5 points, still only 2 games.
So Forest, they play, obviously, Villa in the Cup, Chelsea away.
So we play Villa before on the Sunday, and they play Chelsea away on the Monday.
Yeah.
So we do have a chance to put a little bit of pressure on them with a win.
Yeah, because if we win, then it's 2
points.
points, but we are playing Villa away.
It's Villa away. Even a draw, I mean, 4 points, still there. But Chelsea away, I mean, the way Chelsea are playing, you wouldn't exactly predict.
Yeah, you just never know what it's going to be like with the change of manager, though, do you?
Yeah.
I know it's not it's just interim, but
if they can lose that game,
I think it's very significant, though. Like, it's 3 days from Chelsea away to their second leg. It's literally just 3 days.
Yeah.
So if that game is tight going into the second leg, surely they've got no option but to rest players in that game.
They won't. They can't afford to. I don't think. I don't think they can afford to rest anyone when it's still possible and get relegated. They're still not. We won. I think if we had not won yesterday, I think maybe they can start thinking like that. But we won, so now we have that monkey off our back. I guess it depends what we do at Villa. If we do get a win at Villa, there's 0 chance they rest any players if we win at Villa.
Probably right.
They're definitely going full strength.
But then their last 3 games is Newcastle at home, Man United away, and Bournemouth at home. I think the Newcastle game, I think they can win or draw at least. Man United away, I actually think they can go and do something at United. I think United will probably have Champions League confirmed by then, and they'll be completely on the beach. I think that game will mean a lot more to Nottingham Forest, so I don't doubt that they can get at least a point.
In the final or not?
Yeah. And then Bournemouth at home, last game of the season. I think Bournemouth will still be fighting by then to get a potential European spot, so there's something there. But I'm looking at those fixtures, and I think they'll get enough points to stay up.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, there's 4 tough games.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at it objectively, 4 probably games tougher than ours. But obviously they've just gone and won 5-0. So, and they're unbeaten in 5 games. So you look at them thinking maybe they can get results in those games. But it's an interesting one. I think they'll get enough. Obviously, they probably, if you look at it, they probably just need 1 win, don't they? 1 win would be enough. They're on 39.
So what we're saying for West Ham, 3 points in the next 3 games. No, 2 points in the next 3 games, which will put them on what?
38?
38. We're saying for Spurs, we're going to get
4 points.
4 points, and even that is like so that's 38. We're saying Nottingham Forest are going to get in the next 3 games, Chelsea away, Newcastle at home, Man United away. I think they get
3. I'll say 3.
I would say 4 even. I think they can get 4 points.
But even if let's just say it's 3.
Okay, say it's 3. That'll put them on 42.
And then so that leaves us 4 points clear. Them 4 points clear with 2 games to go.
Which means they're safe. No, 1 game to go.
Oh, 1 game to go.
Yeah, they're safe. Leeds, They've got Burnley at home, which is probably 3 points, and then they're safe because they'll be on 43.
So the only way we could realistically drag those teams into it.
If Burnley beat Leeds.
No, if we win through all 3 games.
Oh yeah, if we win, yeah.
That's the only real way. Because
Yeah.
if we win all 3, which is obviously really unlikely, what will that put us on? That will put us on. That's another 5 points, isn't it? So that'll put
If
us
we
on
win
43.
3 out of our next 3 games.
Let's just say we do. What will that put us on? 43.
Yeah.
And that'll actually put us ahead of them if we're in that prediction.
Yeah, it's not happening.
No, it's not happening. Let's say we win 2 out of the next 3.
It'll put us on 40.
40. Okay, then that means they're in it, the other teams, if they only get 3 points, which is not that unrealistic.
Yeah, but I think 4 points.
4
points is
yeah.
what we're going to get.
I think 4 points, to be honest, looking at it, I'll take 4 points right now. Like, in terms of, there's a good chance we
4
don't get 4
points,
points.
yeah. But the problem is, if West Ham do win one of their next 3 games, 4 points
Yeah.
ain't enough.
No,
That's the problem.
we need West Ham to go winless in the next 3.
Us having 4 points with our projections, we've got West Ham to draw 2 games and lose 1 game, and that puts us level pegging going into the last day of the season. And us basically being on top by goal difference going in, and they've got Leeds at home, and we've got Everton at home. Which even then is not like, you know what I mean? They've got the easier game.
We have to thread the eye of the needle here to
Yeah.
be safe. If we can somehow get these wins over these next 3 games,
If we
It's
can beat
incredible.
Aston Villa next weekend, that would just be humongous, man. That would be humongous. It's not beyond all realms of possibility, but it's going to be a very tall order.
We're going to need luck. We're going to need luck. We're going to need refereeing decisions to go away. We need to rely on set pieces, and we just need to defend resolutely. That seems to be the only way we can get out of this, because we just don't have the forward players right now. And who knows who's going to be next? It's mad. De Zerbi, since he's come in, he's lost Kudus, Romero,
Yeah,
Udogie,
yeah.
Xavi,
Yeah.
and Solanke.
All his influential players, every single one.
He's
apart
been
from
here 2
Van der Ven.
weeks.
I know.
That was his 3rd game, right?
Yeah,
That was his 3rd game.
he's been here a month. Yeah,
He's lost more injuries than he's had games.
it's mad.
It's
Just mad. You
crazy.
just can't write it, man. You can't write it. It's just.
He came in an injury crisis and he's had 5 injuries since
Yeah.
he's been here. So what are you going to do with that?
I know. If Xavi has done his ACL, that would have mean what, 6 ACLs in the last year or 2?
Well, in terms of like serious knee injuries, you got Kulusevski, Madison, Dragoshin, not Bentancur. Who was it? Odebear.
Yeah,
Now Xavi. That's 5
in the last year.
last year.
Like, what is going on at this football club?
And then
How are we just like popping ACLs like?
And then you've had Kudus and Romero have had 2 very serious groin injuries. I've kept them out for 3 to 6 months. You've had Van der Ven, who's had a series of hamstring injuries. Udogie, serious hamstring injuries. It's crazy. The whole thing is nuts.
I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. But look, we've mapped out for you that relegation, and it ain't looking good.
No.
It's really not looking good.
It seems as though if we really just need to win games, like there's no way of like sugarcoating it. If we
Yeah.
don't win these games, it's just looking really unlikely.
Yeah.
Because we've predicted West Ham to get 2 out of 3, and even that might not happen
I know.
if they get 4 points.
If West Ham go and beat Brentford next week,
Yeah.
then the writing's on the wall.
They're playing before us.
Yeah, they play 3 o'clock on the Saturday. We play 7 o'clock on the Sunday. So it's actually like mad, because if they go and draw that game, then we can win to go out the
Yeah,
relegation
we
zone.
know what we need to do. But if they win that, all the pressure's on us.
Yeah.
So much pressure.
Well, to be honest, the pressure's on us regardless of the result,
Yeah.
because if they draw or lose,
We need to win.
massive
Either way.
pressure on us to win the game. Massive pressure. So no matter the result, the pressure cooker is going to be building and building and building. I think the pressure, is there more pressure? There's more pressure on them if they win, though, because we know we just need to win to keep pace.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a worse situation to be in. To know I've always said, like, I remember writing this, and I think reading this, sorry, and I think this is very relevant to the relegation battle. When you look at penalty shootouts, you look at when that fifth penalty is taken, they did a study on how likely a player is to miss or to score. They found when a player is taking a penalty to win the game, they score, I think it was 85% of the time. But when they're taking a penalty to stay in the game, if for example, if they miss their out, they actually only score about 50% of the time. They score a lot less because the pressure to like avoid losing is a lot more than the pressure to win the thing.
Yeah.
Like when you have excitement. I think that's same with a football team. When you take it into relegation battle, the pressure to just stay in the race is a lot more and it weighs a lot heavier than the pressure to actually win, to actually be out the relegation zone. You'd much rather be in that situation because you're actually fighting for something that you need to achieve. If you win that, you're out the relegation zone. Like that is something that you can actively, physically see. Whereas if you're just winning to keep pace, it's more like, God, if we don't win this, we're down.
You know what? If West Ham draw against Brentford and we somehow beat Villa, then that you can actually see massive end in sight because the next game is us against Leeds at home and them against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden we could actually put a bit of light between us. But we have to go and beat Villa. So I don't know. There's a lot, as someone said, a lot of ifs and buts
It's
here.
a hell of a lot of ifs.
We got to see it all play out, and we got to just hope and pray for the best. But
put it this way, if you're looking objectively, yesterday hasn't actually got us in a better position to stay up. It's actually probably, you would even say, after yesterday, we're more likely to go down than we were before yesterday.
I said after the game, I literally said it on the instant match reaction in a weird way. I feel more convinced we're going down after the game than I did before the game.
I mean, objectively, that's true. I think. In fact, they did. I think one of the percentage thingies had us up to 65% from 58% after yesterday, due to I think the injuries. And also, you can't forget, as much as we got a big win, West Ham won in the last minute. The belief that's going to fuel
100%.
You know, they're going to have so much belief now that they're going to stay up after that win. It's a bigger win for. Well, I wouldn't say it's a bigger win for them than us, because I think getting your first win is massive. Your first win in so long, but it's still a big win and still a massive.
I think in a way it could be a better win, because at some point they were back in the relegation zone and then they clawed their way back out in a massive morale boosting win. It's a massive win for them.
Yeah,
massive.
I'm saying, but I think they already had belief, is my point, that they were staying up.
Yeah, but it just even fuels that belief. Though,
I understand that, but I'm saying we had I don't know how much belief we had, and now we have a win, and I was like, okay, we're alive, we're still there, we're still here. So I think the win is bigger for us than for them, but it's still a big win, and they're on a roll, and we've lost 2 big injuries. So I think if I'm a West Ham fan, I'm definitely feeling more confident after yesterday.
Yeah. Well, like I said yesterday, people, just keep praying, keep believing, and let's hope. Just literally just pray to any God that you can. Any God that you believe in. We need some divine intervention, people, in these last 4 games. And hopefully we can beat this thing. That's all I can say. But let's get on to player ratings. Spurs have won their first game in 118 days. If you haven't already, that is a QR code to get your player ratings in. Link is in the live chat as well. Let's start off with Antonin Kinsky, 8s all round. Again, the thing's gone. It was there before. Wow. Anyway, 8.5.
I know. Yeah.
8.5 for you guys. 8s all round for us. And yeah, look, did his job. Did everything that he could do in the game. Match-winning save right at the end, which everyone's going to be talking about. But I think his ball-playing ability, the calmness he brings to the back line, I think is just fantastic. I'm so happy with him in goal so far.
Yeah, I think I'm delighted for him, because it's not easy coming back from the situation that he had in Madrid. That is one of those iconic moments that a lot of people remember forever. So the fact that he's recovered from that is brilliant. But had a great game. A lot of people saying should be keeping his place now. This should be the number 1 keeper. I think he's had a really good past 3 games, and obviously he's going to have tougher tests. He had, but that big save right at the end. You know, we could be looking back at that as a save that kept us in the Premier League. Could very well do. Yeah. And then he'll be an absolute hero. But yeah, I think deservedly gets plaudits. A lot more short than Vicario, so deserves his 8.
Next up is Pedro Porro. 6s all round from us. 6.7 from you guys out there. I mean, he put a lot of crosses on the day, and it was definitely not for the want of trying. I thought I saw a good energy and a good mentality about him, but I thought a lot of his delivery was poor. There was one really nice pass to Javi, cut across the pitch, and obviously we created a big chance from that. But those, it's just too and few and far between, and I think for a guy of his quality, needs to be doing more, in my opinion, on the offensive side of the game. Defensively, I don't think he came under too much pressure, and I think he dealt with most things that came his way.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with him. I think he didn't have his best game, but I thought, as you say, set pieces was a big thing, and he was the one taking them, and I thought he looked dangerous from them. He set up that chance for Xavi. So even in a game that wasn't his best, he still did quite a bit. Defensively, I thought, I mean, Mane was there, wasn't he? But he didn't really trouble him too much. So I gave him a 6. Wasn't bad, wasn't great.
Next up, Kevin Danso. 6 from me, 7 from you, 6.9 from you guys. Yeah, look, I thought he was the worst of the pair of between him and Van de Ven. I don't think he did too much wrong, to be fair. It's just like, he gets very frustrating with his heavy passes out the back. Doesn't do too well from that aspect. And look, he had to get bailed out at one point by Anton Kinsky. So, look, decent performance. Didn't do too much wrong, but it just wasn't a sensational performance.
Yeah, he definitely got lucky with that moment, for sure. I don't know why he panicked so much. He's being chased by Adam Armstrong, but he should have full control of that situation. But panicked, tried to head it back, and just left it short, and Kinsky had to bail him out. Other than that, I thought it was okay. Swung in a few long throws, which didn't really come to anything, but that was something we were trying to do. Wasn't really a threat from set pieces, but I just thought defensively was solid. Didn't really give much away. If more came of that late error, probably a bit harsh on him, so he was a bit lucky. But I thought,
was it him that gave away the free kick at the end as well?
Might have been.
I thought it was a sloppy foul to give away at that moment in the game as well.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty good.
Next up is Mickey Van de Ven. 7 from me, 8 from you guys. 8 from Sim, 6.9 from you guys. I thought he was fantastic. I thought nothing got past him throughout the day. I thought he was, it was a quieter day for our defensive line because Wolves didn't offer much, but everything that came his way, I thought he just dealt with really well in the air, on the ground. I think there's been a different mentality from him over the past couple of games, wearing the captain's armband with pride, showing good passion, showing grit. So I'm happy with Van de Ven over the last couple of games. Yeah,
I thought another really strong showing. I thought he just dominated, didn't he? He dominated that back line. I thought as good as he was against Brighton. I think probably had less to deal with defensively. I think he was taking a lot of responsibility. I thought it was a good performance.
I think there were a lot of moments as well where Jed was high up the pitch and he had to cover on that left-back position. I think he did that really well as well. Jed Spence, 6s all round for Jed. You guys have given him a 6.5. Look, early doors, I thought, he was causing a bit of a problem down that left-hand side, taking on men, trying to influence the attack. But that kind of weaned out the game pretty soon, and he didn't have too much of an impact going forward for the majority of it. Defensively, I think he did all right. It was just a bit of a okay. It was good before. It was okay. It was nothing great, nothing bad. It was okay.
Exactly what I thought it would be. Like we struggled to attack down that side because he wasn't really stretching the pitch as much. He wasn't really an attacking threat. We need all our players to kind of, at the moment, especially in this kind of game where you're against a Wolves side who's going to make it difficult for you, you need everyone trying to stretch the play and trying to create openings, and Spence just doesn't really do that. Defensively fine, but a bit frustrating going forward, I felt.
Next up is Rodrigo Bentancur. 7s all round from us. You guys have given him a 7.8. He was my man of the match. I felt like I said before. Yeah, I know, but that was just because of the moment. But I think in terms of the 90 minutes, I felt like he was our best player on a whole. I felt at times, he's able to dictate the tempo of the game. Like I said against Brighton, quicken up, slow it down at times. So much coolness, calmness, composure. Just gets the ball ticking, and he's the only one in that middle of the park that shows any sort of ability on the ball. So I'm loving what he's bringing to the team, and he's got bite in him as well. Is the amount of interceptions and tackles on the day. I think he set himself apart from the rest of the midfielders that we have.
Yeah, another promising display from Rodrigo. So really great to have him back. I think he just gives us a little bit of assuredness in that middle, which we haven't had. And I think the difference between someone like him and Gray is, look, Gray's done really well over the last few weeks when he was starting. But I think physically he's just so much more dominant rather than Gray's just more competitive. Whereas Bentancur's just more dominant in the middle due to his, he's got a few years on him and he's not a teenager. So I think he just makes such a big difference, and really great to have him back.
Yeah, you know what? I was saying to Ash on the watch along, like, Bentancur gets a lot of shit from, I've given it to him in the past, everyone's given it to him in the past, and the narrative around him. But the reality is, if you look at actually what Rodrigo Bentancur is, he's a highly experienced central midfielder that has been there, done it in the Italian league, won multiple Serie A's. Mm-hmm. So he's a high quality player, isn't he? And I think maybe we're a bit too harsh on him sometimes.
Maybe because we expect more from him. I think we're all just hoping he gets back to that form that we used to see from him, and he just never has. And it's sad in a way, but look, he is a very good player, and I think over the last few years, I think he's probably gotten way too much criticism than deserved.
Next up is Yves Bissouma. I've given him a 5. You've given him a 6. You guys out there have given him a 7. So you guys are pretty happy with Yves. I think he did a very good job in protecting the back four, but I want to see a lot more from Yves Bissouma on the ball. I don't think we saw much of it in this game, and we know with Yves Bissouma, he's got the ability on the ball. He's got the ability to drive forward, take on his man, pass the ball forward, and we're just not seeing that enough, in my opinion. So that's why I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I think we're just playing it too safe. I think definitely when Yves Bissouma is at his best is when he's turning his man, bursting into the space, playing the ball forward quickly. I think in a weird way, this is actually quite similar to the Bissouma that we saw late last season when he wasn't a double pivot. I thought he was playing it a bit more safe and he wasn't taking as many risks. Whereas when when Ange first came, for example, he was so risk. He was taking so much risk every time he got the balls, as if he's has to beat someone and has to open the game up. And obviously he was brilliant, but then once those risks started going against him, all of a sudden he started getting caught out a lot. And I think late in last season, in that Europa League run, he was a much more safer player, and I think it's much more closer to the player we're seeing at the moment. But I would love him to be a bit braver again, and I think he's probably turned the dial too much the other way, maybe because of all the criticism he gets for making mistakes and giving the ball away. And I think when we know he's at his best is when there's someone who's being a little bit more optimistic when he's on the ball.
Next up is Randall Kolo Muani. I gave him a 4. You guys, you gave him a 3, and you guys out there gave him a 3.8. I thought he started the game well. He had that chance. He was pressing well. He was getting himself in dangerous positions, but it just didn't last long. And he just weaned in confidence, started doing stupid things with the ball, passing it out of play, under-hit passes to his teammates. And outside of the first 5-10 minutes, he literally offered absolutely nothing to the team, and he got hooked at half-time. I think maybe De Zerbi actually saved him, for me, for getting an even lower mark, because if he would have stayed on the pitch for some of the second half and that performance started to continue, I would have probably marked him down on another one. But I just marked him up just slightly just because he had a good start to the game.
Yeah, for me, obviously, hooked at half-time. No problem with it. Wasn't a good performance from him. How do we get the best out of him? How do we get that Muani that plays for France or was playing for Juventus or playing for Frankfurt? How do we get that into our team? Because at the moment, it seems like an impossible task. And that's the one that De Zerbi has to undertake. He's promised De Zerbi to, well, not promised, but he's clearly made a thing of it, isn't he? I'm going to take him out for lunch, dinner, trying to, pump him up, trying to tell him how good he is. I think De Zerbi believes there's a player there, but hopefully in the last 4 games, we're going to need him now more than ever. More than ever. So now's the time, Muani. It wasn't a good game for him, but now he's going to be our main attacker, and he's going to be one we're really relying. We're going to be turning to him at this point. So let's hope, with that increased responsibility, maybe he can rise. But right now, he's definitely sinking.
Yeah. Conor Gallagher, 5s all round for Conor. You guys have given him a 6.2. Yeah, it wasn't a great performance. I think off the ball, I think he provided what he was providing against Brighton, maybe just to a bit of a lower standard, but I think he was doing well in that aspect, winning his duels, running around and, like a headless chicken at times, but definitely providing an extra body. But, he's tasked in the team to be the number 10, to be that player that can contribute to the attack. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't do anything close to that. At Chelsea, we saw him box crashing, taking shots from outside the area. Where is that Conor Gallagher? That's the Conor Gallagher I want to see on top of the good work that he's doing. Because he did do good work yesterday, like he did against Brighton. But we need to see more. We need to see more in the aspect of him providing a goal threat. And I don't see any of that in his play right now.
Yeah, which is obviously really surprising because we've seen that in pretty much all the clubs he's been at, that he's always been someone who contributes in the final third. So the lack of quality we're seeing from him is very frustrating. He just doesn't seem to be that involved when we're in the final third. He seems to not be able to get on the ball. We don't see him taking shots. We don't see him attempting anything, let alone pulling anything off, which is I don't know, very confusing at the moment. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, is it a quality thing? But we're just not seeing enough of Conor Gallagher once we get near the opposition's penalty area. Off the ball, he did fine, but we want to see more from him.
Yeah. Javi Simmons, 5s all round for Javi. You guys are giving him a 6.6. Obviously, absolutely gutting in the manner that his game ended. There are some rumours about ACL, MCL. We don't know until we get further information. First half, I thought he wasn't really too involved in the game. I thought he came alive a little bit in the second half. Obviously, had that chance where he should be doing better, but he did such a good job to get into that position. And he was doing a few nice things, trying to hurt Wolves a little bit in the second half. But yeah, he needs to be having a lot more impact in the game. He's our chief creator. He's the one with the ability, and we didn't really see it yesterday.
Look, I think what we saw yesterday is what kind of with Xavi is the reality. He's going to be frustrating. He'll give the ball away, but he'll also, if you keep feeding it to him, he will make something happen. And I think he was starting to. Obviously, he missed that chance, and who knows if he would have stayed fit, if something he would have brought on something else later in the game. But also, what you'll get with him is he's going to be very frustrating, and he's going to give the ball away unnecessarily, and he's going to miscontrol the ball occasionally, and he's going to overhit passes. And when he has a whole game like that and nothing happens, you're going to be rightly very frustrated with him because all he's done all game is give the ball away. But I think he's also a player where if you do keep feeding it to him, the chances are, if you give the ball to him 10 times, 3 or 4 times, he will do something and he will have a shot. He will create a chance. And right now, that's better than anyone else is doing. But he's now injured, so we don't have that player. So we're going to lose that ability, that potential to even create anything now from him. So who's going to fill in his role? People who aren't even creating anything. Even if you give the ball in 10 times, they're going to give the ball away 10 times.
Yeah.
Rather than Xavi, who you might create something 3 times.
Yeah.
So
I think the stats bear it out for themselves in terms of the amount of times we win football matches with and without Xavi.
Yep. We haven't won any games, have we, without Xavi since he's come.
So that tells you everything you need to know, in my opinion.
It's a great stat, considering he's likely to miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's not a great stat knowing that. Next up is Dominic Solanke. 5s all round for Dom. You guys out there have given him a 5.2. Again, I thought he started the game really well. A lot of energy, winning his duels, bringing other players into play. He looked like he was really on it from the first 5-10 minutes. Obviously, he got taken off, on the 38th minute or something like that through an injury. Looked like he's got a muscle injury or tweaked his hamstring or something like that. But yeah, after the first 10 minutes, again, he didn't see much of the ball and he was kind of out of the game because, Wolves were kind of growing an influence a little bit, and in the first 10-15 minutes we were like camped out on their half, and then after that we didn't really see the ball in their half that much. So yeah, that was it. It wasn't great.
Yeah, obviously he went off 38 minutes.
Yeah.
So hard to judge him too much, but yeah, it wasn't a great 38 minutes from him. Didn't really get too much. I thought he battled well, but in terms of again being that goal threat, I didn't think he was as involved as he was maybe against Brian. Even then, he wasn't that involved, but at least when he was involved, he was quite good. This time, didn't do too much on the ball, unfortunately. Battled with the centre-backs, but didn't... It's a shame he's injured, though, because I still think he's quite a big player for us. So the fact that he's injured is not great news, and it's just another attacker that we don't have options with. Obviously, Richarlison did come on. We'll talk about him in a minute. But the difference between him and Richarlison is kind of Richarlison's always involved, just not much quality. Whereas Solanke's like sometimes he's in the game, sometimes he's out of the game. It seems.
Mm-hmm. Radu Dragusin, I mean, he just came on right at the end, so not much to talk about.
First appearance under De Zerbi, is it for him?
Yeah, I think it was. And look, he came out just to see the game out at 1-0. You guys giving him a 5.2, but I don't know if he even saw the ball. Did he even touch the ball?
Probably not. Maybe a few headers away.
Trying to see how many touches he actually had. Not many. 4 touches.
4 touches.
So,
well, help see the game out.
Yeah. And next up is João Palhinha. 8 all round for João. Another big goal. You've given him an 8 as well. Look, he was there for us in a moment of need. At the back post, steaming in, puts the ball in the back of the net. Spurs get their first win in 2026, and we've got a lot to thank to João Palhinha.
And it's not the first time, is it? He's stepped up in a big moment and got a big goal. Albeit, I think what he did against Bournemouth, but it ended up meaning nothing. But he's done it at other moments where we've really needed him. So fair play to him. He is, because he's so physical and he's so strong, he is a very big threat from set pieces. So that is definitely a value he has. And he does cause a lot of problems in the opposition box. And I don't think he came on and wasn't like particularly massively impressive, but look, he came up with a big moment, timed his one rail, stayed on side, and we got the win. So fair play to him. Of a lot of discussion this week whether he should stay or not. It's a timely reminder of what he can do rather than what he can't do.
Yeah, and I think he could be really big for us in these last 4 games. I really believe that. Next up is Richarlison. I've given him a 5. You've given him a 6. 5.1 from you guys out there. I mean, I thought he was really disappointing for the most part when he came on. He lost the ball a hell of a lot of times. Always looks busy. But the reality is he helped us on our way to that victory because he grabbed the assist for João Palhinha.
Yeah, he had one shot, didn't he, which was really poor, which was well over the bar, wasn't it? It was horrible.
I don't even think he had to shoot at that point. Like, I thought he just
rushed it.
Yeah, rushed it way too much.
Sounds like Richarlison. But but to be fair, you look at the goal, as you say, it was a big moment, but he had to react very quickly. And I know it's probably a shot that's going wide, isn't it? But the ball is bobbling around in that penalty area, lots of bodies around, and he's got to react very quickly to get something on it, which forces the goal. And he seems to just have a knack of being in those positions, doesn't he? How many times that in the penalty area and the ball's just like dropping, he's just there, isn't he? He seems to smell those opportunities and smell where the ball's going to drop, and he just has this instinct. And it seems to happen so often.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's why I'll probably prefer to see Richarlison play over Solanke anyway, because he's the one that showed that ability with that knack, with that, I'm not going to say killer instinct because he doesn't have the killer instinct, but he's got the ability more than Solanke has shown to put the ball in the back of the net and to be in that moments, in those killer moments. So that's probably, this is what we need in these last 4 games, is someone that is going to be there. Solanke doesn't seem to be there.
I just think that's best for a super. That's perfect for a super sub. I would
say.
But look, Solanke's injured anyway, so it's likely he'll have to start. Which, look, is what it is. He is our top goal scorer. Did get a goal contribution as well. Got an assist. So I think that's 14 goal contributions this season. I don't know if that's all competitions, but came on and got the assist. Didn't do too much else, but fair play to him.
Matisse Tell, 6 is all round for Matisse. Look, I think he came on, looked busy, obviously won the corner in great fashion. Did a lot more than Moani did. So another case for him, albeit we got more injuries, so it's probably going to be a case for both of them for the last 4 games of the season. But yeah, I credit him for winning the corner, and he just looked busy.
Yeah, I think he'd obviously... the difference between him and Moani, I feel, is Moani just loses that confidence, or at least loses, like, once he's like out of the game, all of a sudden he goes within himself and he starts playing the ball backwards and whatever. Whereas Tell, it doesn't matter how many times he fails to be his fullback or how many times he gives the ball away, he's going to go
trying,
again.
Yeah.
He's going to keep trying and keep going and keep running down blind alleys if that's what it takes. And obviously that's what won us the corner, which led to the goal. Just never say die attitude. The ball looked like it's going out. Maybe other players would have given up in that position, but he doesn't. He goes round the back of the defender, he keeps it on, beats the man and wins the corner. He just keeps going. Now, I can't say it was too much there, like, quality in terms of like, oh, he nearly scored or he had this shot or he set up this chance, but you know what? he didn't give up, and that's, you know, some other players you can't even say that. So
that's the kind of attitude we need in these last 4 games. We can't have players giving up. Last but not least is Lucas Bergvall. 5s all round from us. You guys have given him a 6.4. I'm thinking again, like, he came on, looked a bit busy, won the ball back a few times, but no real quality in his play going forward.
Yeah, but obviously came on the left-hand side, didn't he? Not a position that he... I mean, he has played there a few times, but not any great ability. So, harsh to judge him. I don't remember too much he did, to be honest, but no, in this game.
Not much. And last but not least, it is Roberto De Zerbi. It's harsh. It's hard to judge De Zerbi on this. Obviously, we didn't have a good game. So, you know, he's got to be getting better out of these players. He's only been here for 3 games, so it's hard, especially in the situation we're in, to really turn our fortunes around. But the reality was, we've won the game. And it's the first game we've won in 2026, so that's got to count for something. But I just felt like his changes were hampered by injuries that we got throughout the game. So his game management was definitely struck by that. So it's really hard to really judge De Zerbi, but I'm going to give him a 6 just because we won the game.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I guess one of his subs came on and scored, so you got to credit him with that. It's hard, isn't it? I didn't have a problem with the lineup. The only maybe change we were thinking is Tell for Moani, which he did rectify very quickly at half time. As you said, the other players would, you know, Xavi goes down with an injury, Solanke goes down with an injury. What are you meant to do about that? Under the circumstances, obviously it was a frustrating performance, and it was very similar to the Sunderland game in that sense, where we didn't see many improvements. And, you know, we probably played better in the Brighton game. We didn't win, and this game we probably played a lot worse, but we did win. That's football sometimes. So the fact he's got 4 points out of his first 3 games, considering the form we were in before, you got to credit him with that. But I can't sit here and say we're fantastic. But yeah, I can't be, as you say, can't really be too critical of him. Can't really judge him too harshly at the moment.
Yeah, it's like you're looking at De Zerbi's time at Spurs so far with the 3 games that he's had. Like, particularly if you're judging it against Igor Tudor and Thomas Frank, like, since the turn of the year, how many games have we deserved to lose? Probably the majority of them. But since De Zerbi's come in, you know, you can't say hand on heart we deserve to lose any of those games, really.
In fact, you'd probably say, as you say, I think you'd probably say we've been unlucky. You probably say it should be 2 draws and a win.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that would give us 5 points. So we're probably a point worse off than we should be.
Yeah. All right, so that is our player ratings for the 1-0 win against Wolves. You know, I nearly said loss there. I mean, I'm so used to saying loss, but we have got over the line. We have got the 3 points. And let's get into reacts to see how the internet did react to the game yesterday. First up, we have got... Oh, let me just refresh it.
I think Sammy needs to refresh it.
Oh, Sammy needs to refresh it. We have got Spurs fan John saying, "Who made this?" They kept panning to V9 Lange during the game yesterday.
Just to rile us up.
Literally. The cameraman, he just kept panning to them and kept panning to like mad, like panicky Spurs fans. You being one of them.
God. Utter clowns. Get them out of this football club. What are they still doing here?
I know.
Look at them just watching over as if like, just watching their good work.
Clueless, mate.
Yeah, absolutely clueless. I mean, obviously they're not going to be making changes or anything, but honestly, I hate them.
Me too. Away from Spurs, though, Will Lancashire had an unbelievable day yesterday in a great win for Oxford. This was his first goal, an absolutely rifling header into the top corner. But it got a lot better than that. Look at his first goal. If you scroll down, look at this goal. This is something out the Harry Kane playbook. Look at that.
Oh, that game, that was last week.
Oh, was that last week?
Portsmouth was last week. The header you showed.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm talking about yesterday, though. That was the goal, the second one.
The second one, because the first one was a back heel.
Oh, well, I didn't even see the back heel.
Back heel volley.
Wow.
But this one was beautiful as well. Unbelievable. This was probably a better one.
Is that not Harry Kane-esque?
It looks, honestly, He must have learned a thing or two.
And you know what? If you just scroll down, in terms of like Will Lancashire, how many times have we said that he's definitely learned from Harry Kane?
Of course he has.
We've said it so many times. Like there's so much influences in his play from Harry Kane, and I think this is another example of it.
You know what? Kane only burst onto the scene about 21. Lancashire, he's coming up on that age, isn't he?
Well,
Could we?
Lancashire's having a better loan spell than Harry Kane ever did.
Well, I actually think Kane, when he was at Millwall, I think got Young Player of the Year for them, didn't he? So he wasn't bad. But yeah, but look.
Was that League One though?
No, I think it was Championship.
Was it Championship?
I think so. But 12 goals now in the Championship for Lancashire.
Fantastic. And he's coming alive, especially where it means, and like these last 2 games with that bullet header and the 2 goals that he scored yesterday. I mean, before that, he was just getting really like poacher's efforts, weren't he? And these like proper quality, these goals.
What's their situation now? They got a
It's not looking good for them.
Are they down?
They're not down, but I think it's
I think I saw the one they 4 points behind with 1 game left.
I thought, is it only 1 game left now?
Because there's how many? It's 46, right?
Yeah, 46 games. Are they down then?
Where's the Championship?
Yeah, you're right. They're down.
So why haven't I heard anything about Oxford officially down?
Don't know, but it looks like they're down.
Yeah, 4 points with 1 game left. Yeah. Are they down, chat? Because I know West Bromwich got a 2-point deduction.
Yeah, that 2 points is added in.
Okay, so it doesn't look good for them.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right. Next up, this was Sims footage of Roberto De Zerbi showing that passion with the away end yesterday. It's great to see.
Yeah, it was a really nice moment, and it was like a lot of people have been liking this thing. Look at the passion, and I think he can sense how big that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that we got that win, his first win as Tottenham manager, celebrated it, coming over to the Spurs fans. It was a brilliant moment to see him, and for him to get that first proper connection with the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, massive.
Really
everyone's saying he gets it.
He's proper Tottenham already, fully coys.
Next one is...
It was. I think the fans were... the fans were proper up for it yesterday. I think it was one of those wins where it didn't really stop, and it was also never really turned toxic. Even when it was like looking bad, like it doesn't look like we're going to score anything, they kept supporting, they kept encouraging the team, and obviously we got that moment near the end. They always felt like if we just kept going, we'll get that moment, and I think the fans got reward for it late on.
Spurs Insider saying 60 seconds with our medical team. So a physio expert was saying that they were doing like ACL tests on Xavi, and a minute later they're trying to get him to run it off.
They were, and we could see it on in the ground. They had him running around the corner. They had him.
He just broke down.
Yeah, he was doing a few jumps and stuff, and he looked fine, and it looked like he was about to come back on. And I think he was coming round the side to the side of the pitch to actually come back on. But while he was doing a little jog, he then broke down. He was like, "Oh no, it's serious."
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, it beggars belief. How many times? I mean, how with Kulusevski? He actually came on the pitch. Kulusevski actually came back on the pitch before for like a minute or so before they realised it was way too serious. Let's just hope Xavi is not an ACL. But from what I've read from these physio experts who look at the images and assess things, they say it could potentially be an ACL, but other than that, it could be ligament damage, which would rule him out for the rest of the season anyway. Yeah. So let's just hope it's not an ACL and it's not a massive one like that. But either way, I can't think he's going to play again this season.
Yeah. BLTHFC says, interesting stat. Spurs haven't gone 2 weeks during the season without a new injury since March 2023. 3 years of ACL injury, after shoulder injury, after hamstring injury. One player comes back and 2 are injured for 3 years straight. Normally long-term too. Just bizarre and sad. Like, how mad is that? How mad is that, man?
We haven't gone 2 weeks without a new injury, man.
Jesus,
What is it with us? Why are we cursed? We have some sort of... Someone's put a curse on us.
I know.
Someone's put a curse on us, which we don't know how to break. And I don't know. This or that, can't even say it's due to Europa League win, because that's well before the Europa League win.
Yeah.
I don't know. What have we done to deserve this? What have we done?
Javi Simmons on Instagram. TTP always.
What's TTP? Tottenham till... No, what is it?
What is TTP?
Does the P stand for Paulinia?
TTP, people. Anyone know what TTP is, Sammy?
Tottenham
Till
promotion. Tottenham till promotion.
TTP? I'm not in it with trust the process.
Oh, trust the process.
Oh, God. Is he memeing us? The process is just getting Paulinho at the back post. Is that the process?
That's the process. Kevin Danso on Instagram says, 1 down, 4 more to go. Your unwavering support means everything. Hearing you behind us until the final whistle gives us strength to keep pushing every game. Thank you for always standing with us. We stay together. Keep believing. Keep fighting. We can only do this together.
And there was some nice moments with him and the fans singing Super Kevin Danso yesterday as well. So that was a really nice touch, I thought, from the fans.
Absolutely. Lily White Rose, this is Conor Gallagher on Instagram saying, Chelsea fans, close your ears right now, because he says, thank you for the support today. Stick with us. We'll make a big difference. Coys.
Fully coys, Connor. Fully coys.
It's a far cry from that that banner, the Chelsea fans, that tifo, that Conor Gallagher, Forever Chelsea, whatever it was, and now he's tweeting out saying coys.
Can you believe it?
It's funny. Match of the day, this is João Palhinha saying, we have deserved this victory for a long time. I mean, I'm not so sure that's true, João.
I wish that was true. But judging, if you're basing it purely on how we perform on the pitch, I don't think it is true.
Yeah, like what is he judging that on? Like,
look, maybe he's thinking we work so hard, we train, we do this, we do that. You know, we should be getting a victory before this game, and we've deserved it as a group for going through all the hardship that we've gone through and still sticking together. We deserve something. But reality is, from what I've seen on the pitch, you don't deserve anything. Yeah. But we got the win, and I'm happy you have, and you've got the monkey off your back. And let's hope now this really is something that we can spring into action now between now and the end of the season, and something that really changes how we play, or just changes the momentum. But we'll see.
Yeah. João Palhinha also said after the game that this win is much more than that for me, fans and the whole club. It's not a normal season we have been living. It did feel like it meant a lot, that win yesterday.
Yeah, agreed. And I think the relief the players felt was palpable. But the reality is you got to follow it up.
Yeah.
And you can feel relief today, but if you go and lose against Villa, doesn't mean anything.
Correct. James Wellham says, there is something going on this season, surely. I've never experienced anything like it. At best, it's a subconscious desire to send Spurs down because of the story. And this is in response to, look at that, Andre, 2-footed, studs up on Bissouma, and only a yellow card given. VAR looks at it and says, nah, right decision.
All good. All good. Nothing to see here. How many times we've seen that? Yeah, I don't know. How many times now we've been on the end of horrible decisions. I've even seen rival fans now starting to pick up on it, saying, I saw Alice again tweet out, she's like, Tottenham are awful.
I've got the tweet, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, there you go. So there's something going on here.
Yeah. And then it goes even deeper and even further, because this next one saying, this is WTF, that is outrageous. Like, in what world is this not a penalty? I just don't get it. I just don't understand how VAR would look at that and say, no, that's not a penalty. That's not, like, what? Like, under what rule and what circuit? Like, what are you doing?
I've never seen a more blatant handball in my life. That is like the textbook of deliberate handball. He literally gets his arm around to flick the ball away from him on purpose. I've never seen anything like it. And I can't believe... Look, I can understand maybe the referee missing that because maybe there's bodies in the way or whatever, but how VAR took a look at that and thought, you know what, on-field decision.
Is there a bigger, like, thing of a mad error than that? An error of judgment? This is exactly what VAR is for, these moments.
Literally flicks it away with his... I just can't believe it.
It's mad. I just can't believe it.
Playing volleyball. Handball. He's literally playing handball. It's what you do in handball or basketball. It's like a tactic. You flick the ball away from your opponent.
Disgusting.
I just can't believe they've seen that. To be fair, if we're being completely objective about it, this was just before they scored. and then just before Everton scored.
Yeah.
And so they did equalise anyway, so how much difference would it have actually made in the grand scheme of things? But I just can't believe that they
Yeah, but it just follows on this narrative about decisions, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that influences Spurs. Anyway, Alice Talks Footy says Tottenham need a whole new medical department for the how many time we're going to regenerate
Every week we're hearing about
this
how
medical
Tottenham need a new
department.
medical
Seeing if Javi can run it off after a potential ACL. Kudus was meant to be back last month. Solanke has missed more games since joining Spurs through injury than he did his entire career before that. Kulusevski was meant to be back this season, another setback. Maddison on the bench when he can't even play. Udogie rushed back and gets injured again. Romero used Argentinian staff to treat him when injured in the past and thanked them. Dragsheen, Odegaard, Maddison doing ACLs in the space of a year. On top of this, injuries to Bentancur, Bergvall, and more, seeing them out for periods. Tottenham have had awful injuries these past 3 seasons. While a lot isn't their medical staff's fault, and it is just luck, the recurring issues, asking Javi to run, players not recovering well, and the sheer amount of injuries point to an underperforming medical department.
I've been saying it for years. Everyone's been saying it for years.
The thing is, right, we've been saying it for years, but the medical team has changed multiple times over those years.
Well, then it's the club for not getting
it's mad, isn't it?
People, because it's consistent problems, and the biggest problem is reoccurring injuries, as Alice rightfully pointed out. When a player comes back and re-injures that same injury, that is because they've been brought back too soon and they haven't been properly treated and they haven't recovered fully. So the fact that has happened now repeatedly, many times, is quite frankly incompetence from the medical department. I don't see how it can be anything else but incompetence from them. And then this other thing of misdiagnosing problems on the touchline, which then snowball into bigger problems, is also something. Obviously, we don't know if that's happened with Javi, but it looks like it may well have happened with Javi. And if that has happened, and he's maybe not done his ACL and then tried to run on it and then has done it, I mean, that would be the biggest incompetence. Obviously, with Kulusevski, we don't know what would have happened if he went straight off after that injury, but he tried to run on one of those serious injuries you could have, and he tried to run on it. And obviously, now we haven't seen him in a year. How much damage did he do?
Yeah.
We've seen other players just have continually re-injuring the same injury. Kudus a few weeks ago injured his groin, has come back from it, comes back into training, re-injures it even worse, and now 3 months. I think Van de Ven happened with him
last season. Yeah.
Romero obviously happened with. It's happened with so many players now. It's quite frankly, and also I don't get this. I said it before. Maddison on the bench. I don't get it. Why waste the space with him on the bench? I don't really understand.
Who are you going to put in instead?
Don't care. Put a youth academy player in who has the potential to play if we really go desperate. Why not put Williams Barner or whoever's fit, Tynan Thompson? Put them on the bench. Maybe they can surprise you if you need them. Putting a player who can't play is ridiculous. I kind of feel like I don't really understand it. Obviously, it's not the reason why we've lost or obviously we won. It's not the reason why we're not doing well. But it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't really understand why waste a spot on a player you know is not playing.
Yeah.
What does it change if he's not there? If he's not officially named on the bench, what does it change?
Nothing. Lily White Rose says Wolves' last 3 results at home: 2-1 win against Liverpool, 2-0 win against Aston Villa, 2-2 draw against Arsenal. Today was just about winning by any means possible, and we achieved that onwards. And it's true, like, you know, as much as we want to say, oh, we've only beaten the bottom of the league and already relegated Wolves, which is very true, the reality is their form at Molineux has had a massive uptick over the past month or so, last couple of months. So it's not the easiest game to go to. As you can see, top teams like Arsenal, Villa and Liverpool have all failed to win there.
Yeah, I know. It's true. And I'm very happy we won. The reality is it was just Wolves. And I know that it's not the easiest place, but if you look at those games, I think Arsenal and Liverpool probably were better than us when they went there than we played yesterday. I think that's the truth. So,
but
great.
Only one ends up with 3 points.
No, look, we won. And it's fantastic. And it's not an easy place to go, and especially in the circumstances when all the pressure on us to win. We had to win yesterday, otherwise it was looking really bad for us. So, the fact we did win under those circumstances, fantastic, and we move on. But we're going to have a lot tougher tests, that's for sure.
Yeah. FPL Physio says, new info. Viewers telling me that they let Javi Simmons try and run on it. That would be encouraging. Lascelles came back in the game when he ruptured his ACL. We have to wait and see. Javi Simmons could miss the World Cup due to a possible ACL injury. Javi Simmons was clearly emotionally affected as he immediately grabbed his right knee. Unfortunately, the mechanisms of an ACL injury is present. A fixated right foot with an internal rotation of the femur. See the picture of for reference. Scans will be needed to confirm the injury, but other possible injuries include a meniscus and the MCL. If it is an ACL injury, Javi could be sidelined for 7 to 10 months and unfortunately miss the World Cup. The emotional reaction is often a very good indicator of the extent of the injury. Unfortunately, he was very affected. The physios also appeared to have performed ACL tests, which is another bad sign. Let's hope for the best. In terms of like the emotional reaction, I mean, Javi is like a very highly emotional player anyway.
100%.
So it's hard to really judge it on that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, I don't know if you can judge his emotional reaction, like to see if he's actually got an ACL. But you know, he's looked at how the foot was planted and those kind of signifiers. And let's just hope it's not. Let's just hope it's not as bad as people are theorising. If it is, that's 3 serious knee injuries for all our number 10s. I mean, how unlucky can you get? How unlucky can you get?
Yeah, it's mad. Next up, we have got this message from James Maddison after the game on Kinsky, and he said, brilliant, mate, at Tonda Kinsky. Huge bollocks to bounce back the last few weeks, showing your quality. And I couldn't agree more, mate. Kinsky has been fantastic. He really is showing his bollocks right now.
Big cojones.
Exactly. He's showing a big cojones.
In terms of Maddison, now with Xavi's injury, do we
can't.
Do we accelerate his return?
We can't.
Do we rush it more than we would have?
We can't.
Do we try and get him back on the pitch?
We can't.
We can't try.
No, we can't. We got to stick with the plan with him. Otherwise,
what is the plan?
The plan is for him to be back on the pitch when he feels it's right. Like, we can't rush him back. Otherwise, we're doing the same as we've just criticised. So, look, the reality is, right, James Maddison has always been kind of a slow burner when he comes back from injury. So I'm not even expecting much from Maddison when he does come back anyway. So, look, as much as it's great, big name on the team sheet, someone that can actually create, we can't rush him back because it's just too much of a risk to further aggravate the injury.
We now need him now more than ever.
I know that, but it's just the situation we're in.
Hopefully, maybe he can target Leeds.
Maybe
he can target a few minutes next week. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. So this was Javi when he was getting injured. The Wolves fans peltering him,
I didn't really understand
calling him this, that, and everything while he's getting stretchered off, and Javi snapping back to the Wolves fans whilst getting stretchered off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they thought he was faking or something. I don't really understand it. It was very frustrating. We didn't even get a free kick for that moment as well.
Yeah,
he literally done his ACL and he went out for a goal kick. It's so frustrating, but. Yeah, I don't really get why the Wolves fans were going in on him.
You know, like at that moment as well on the watch-along, only just a bit before that, me and Ash were talking about how Javi's always on the floor and sometimes, he needs to be a bit more stronger and just stay on his feet a little bit. And he goes down there. And I was like, you're not even injured, get up. And then obviously he had a massive injury.
It's your fault. So you cursed him.
Oh, God. This is a tweet from Tottenham saying the best in the business. Spurs fans in full voice yesterday.
Yeah, and it was so hot, by the way, yesterday, and the sun was beaming down on the away end. It was absolutely boiling, and you see a lot of tops off there. But yeah, the crowd was brilliant, absolutely great spirits yesterday.
And then they tweet out as well saying, keep on fighting. Incredible support. Scroll down. Yeah.
There was a lot of hands over the eyes there.
Yeah, I know. I saw it yesterday.
Brilliant, though.
But that's that. that is that from React. That is how the internet did react to the game yesterday. Let's see what you guys are saying out there.
Put the TV on.
Who should have scored?
You need to power. See what's going on in the FA Cup. Here he is.
Here he is,
Ben,
the long lost. What?
Brian's here.
Brian.
It's coming on. It's coming on. Oh, I think you just turned it off.
It's not turning on.
It was. It just turned on, and then you just turned it off.
Let's get him on. The long lost We Are Tottenham TV Ranger, waiting and waiting and waiting all day, all evening on the fan show yesterday. I saw him in the live chat. He's like, I'll be home in 15 minutes and I'll be on. Oh, I'm stuck in this, I'm stuck in that. Well, he's here. Better late than never, eh, Mr. Daigle?
Better late than never, and of course I get to be with Simeon as well, so it's amazing.
It's amazing.
I wasn't good enough for you yesterday. You had to wait for Sim to get in the studio.
For someone that called me chopped liver a few months ago,
Chopped liver.
let's say, mate, honestly, I've
What's
had a
the
nightmare
context
this
of that?
morning. I've had a nightmare this morning. I've got a horrific cold, and I put Vicks under my nose, and I feel like my face is about to be blown off. So
That's how Patrick Vieira used to feel every single week.
mate, honestly, like literally. But yes, anyway, getting back to it, good to see you both. Happy Sunday to everyone in the chat. Everything feels a little bit better after a win, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, it does. It does. And, you know, let's go back to yesterday and your feelings at the final whistle, because you've been incensed. Spurs are down. There's no way of saving this. Did you see this win coming yesterday?
The first half, I think we were absolutely pathetic. I really mean that. What I mean by that is we've seen Forest, we've seen West Ham, we've seen Leeds. They all go out and they are literally going for broke. They are literally piling forward. And we just sat like we were 12th and had nothing to play for. It was so lethargic. There was no urgency or anything. So that really, really got to me in that first half. And I actually think if we hadn't had that set piece, we could have played for 180 minutes. We wouldn't score from open play.
Probably. Yeah.
That's the problem. But look, after 118 days of not feeling that sense of victory and being able to celebrate 3 points, not that we can get over the top and celebrate, but what a welcome relief.
Yeah, as you say, you think you saw with the manager and the players after the game, didn't you? That massive sense of relief, that weight lifted off their shoulders. But it didn't come without a cost, didn't it, yesterday, with 2 major injuries, potentially, with Xavi and Solanke. Obviously, West Ham also still won, and Forest won 5-0, so we didn't gain any ground on our rivals despite the victory. After it's all said and done yesterday, how much has the pendulum actually swung in our favour for you after yesterday? Has it at all? Is it a little bit? What would you say?
I don't think it has, Simon. The only reason I don't think it has is I can't see us scoring a goal from open play. I just, when you look at that performance now, and then with Solanke, who came back from injury well, and then has just petered out kind of since the United game, and then Mawani, who I'd rather play with 10 men, or see if we can get Timo Werner back, because Timo Werner offered more. Don't get me wrong, he was shocking, but at least he was. This guy, I just can't see where the goals are coming from, and Xavi is massive, isn't it?
He scored a fantastic goal in the MLS last week against Sonny's team.
There you go. Bring him back. He's on a run of a rich vein of form of scoring in one game. Yeah, that's just the problem. I think you look at it last season, the defence was a major issue injury-wise.
Yeah.
This season to begin with, or we're just coming out of it, it's been midfield. But now we've got those 3 experienced players to play in there. And now we've got a front line that I just can't. I saw the stat. I don't know if I shared it with you guys yesterday. Morgan Gibbs White has scored 13 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
Richie, Richie, Solanke, Mawani, Tell, Odebear have 16 between them. And it's just that's just an issue. It came from a set piece, and Paulinho's always picked up with, like Simeon was saying earlier, with important goals. And I can't see it, but Anton Kinsky.
Yeah, fantastic. Mate,
boys, I've never been so first of all, that was an elite save.
Yeah.
Like it. I remember. Do you remember when the filth were going mad about that Aaron Ramsdale save against Leicester from that free kick? This was better.
That Aaron Ramsdale save against Leicester was a YouTube save, mate.
Just for the cameras.
We could go that way, but do you know what? You look at it. That Madrid performance and performances like that has broken seasoned professionals before. That they can't bounce back to it, and he's come back with such self-belief, confidence, focus, and has showed a mental spirit and a mental strength so strong that half of the outfield players could take a look at him. I think he was, like you were saying, Ben, he's come back. He couldn't do anything with the deflected free kick. The Brighton goal, the first
deflected goal, you mean, against Sunderland?
Yeah, the deflected goal. Mitoma's, you could have had all three of our keepers in. They weren't saving it.
Yeah.
And like you said, how refreshing is it to have a goalkeeper on the ball that you could actually have, apart from Madrid, that could just distribute the ball. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing?
But Brian, as well, it's on top of that, right? He's come in, he hasn't put a foot wrong in these last 3 games.
Yep.
But when Vicario's in goal, there's always that sense of panic, you know? He never fills you with assurance. You're always kind of like, how many times have you been watching a Spurs game and you get a heart attack whenever the ball gets played back to Vicario? There's just none of that with Kinsky. Like, he's so cool, calm, composed, and so good on the ball as well.
Yeah, I think you got to look at it as well. The last free kick that did any damage before that was Vicario against Liverpool. And that was a much, much easier save, and it became a howler, didn't it? I think if Vicario had been in goal for that, we're talking about a draw.
Yeah, potentially.
I honestly do. The way he got to that save, he collided with the post as well, didn't he, or parts of his body. And then you look at, I think the greatest thing that he did as well was Sunderland, when he just had that head knock and collision with Romero, and then a ball came in, he had to get down quickly. No concern for the bang on the head he's just had, just straight down to get the ball in his possession. And I think he's been brilliant since he's come back with
the mental strength to come back from what he's been through is just, it's out of this world. Chelsea just scored, by the way, in the FA Cup semi-final. Enzo Fernandez. But
well, actually, I think we want that, don't we? Because if Leeds are in the FA Cup, everyone's going to be playing for their places, aren't they? So they're going to come to us.
Apparently, we play Leeds on a Monday night, the Monday before the Saturday of the FA Cup final.
Oh, there you go. So we're either way. But yeah, like we said, it's.
We play Chelsea the week after the FA Cup final.
Oh, wonderful.
So I think we want Leeds to win, to be honest.
Well, let's just hope we can beat the pair of them. I doubt it, but yeah, back to yesterday. Just like I said, relief to get the 3 points. I've heard you guys, and I heard a lot of people speaking yesterday about the referees. And yes, I know there's been some very wrong decisions that have gone our way, and obviously, like you said, the West Ham game yesterday. I think the medical team are more culprit than any referee. I think the players' form, don't get me wrong, it swings and roundabouts, and at the moment we're not getting the rub of the green, but we are where we are because of us, not the refs. Although they have helped to our downfall. But
I don't disagree, Brian, but I do think the refs have cost us a fair few points this season, and if we would have got those points for right decisions, we might not be as low down as we are.
Yeah, but then you've also got to remember we may not have converted those chances. So it's kind of, you know what I mean? Or they may have gone down to 10 men or something with the tackle yesterday. But if we'd got a penalty or a direct, whatever it had been, no assurances it goes in. But like I said, the medical team have got a lot to...
They've got blood on their hands, man.
Mate, I mean, they've all got... How many medical teams have we had?
God knows. God knows.
In terms
Like literally, just since the new stadium, we've probably had more medical teams than blooming managers.
Yeah, probably.
do you think, the Javi one looks quite serious, doesn't it? Solanke, he went off injured yesterday.
Yeah.
What's kind of your ideal front three looking like going to Villa?
Mate, I don't think we've got a lot of choice, have we?
Nope.
It's going to be Tell on the left wing. I mean, does he put Mawani or Richie on the left wing?
Spence?
I hope it's not Mawani. I hope it's
on
not
the right
Mawani
wing?
up top. We'll put Sousa there. We'll put Sousa.
Sousa.
Like
You know what? Again, I don't know if you watched the training, but in training, Sousa's been playing right wing.
Oh, has he?
Cutting inside, yeah. And he obviously played there against Liverpool.
Like I said, I don't watch any of those videos anymore. I just don't, and it's just because it's just regurgitated. Look how well they're training. Do you talking?
Game ready.
Exactly. And then the good old arm emoji on Twitter.
And then we get slapped 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you look at that front line that we've got. There is only 3 to choose from, isn't there?
There is, but I was discussing with Sim. I don't know if you heard it when we were talking about what potential changes we can make. Obviously, Sim was saying, just stick with Mawani on the right, go with Tell on the left. But I was saying, why not get our best pressers on the pitch? Why not put a Conor Gallagher and Lucas Bergvall there and a João Palhinha a bit deeper? You put João Palhinha for his set-piece threats. You put Bergvall and Conor in there for his ability to press high up from the front. The only ways we're going to get goals is pressing high, winning the ball back close to their goal, or set pieces.
Yep.
Like, we're not going to get goals through Randall Cole and Mawani, are we?
No, we just are. You look at the stats this season, but you look at it as well. I like your idea, Ben. I love your idea. In fact, go more offensive, because we showed yesterday how timid or not lethargic, how we were just running on empty and literally no desire to get those 3 points in that first half. And maybe that's what we need. We need to take more risks. But then Spurs are probably thinking, if we take those risks and get exploited, we're on a double-edged sword, aren't we? Rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Rock and a hard place. But we'll see. But I have to say, Ben, when I was listening to you as well, and Sim, Bentancur coming back has made... And I was one of the ones that said, I don't want to rush him back too soon. He's not going to be right. He's not going to be ready. But he's come back and he's just laid some belief in that midfield, hasn't he? Someone that can actually put their foot on the ball and get the ball moving a lot quicker. And he's done extremely well. He's done extremely well in the 2 games he's come back.
He's been fantastic. He really has been. He's kind of like the first name on the team sheet right now. He just adds something different to that midfield, which we haven't had pretty much since he's been out. But I think there's a big question mark about his midfield partner going into the next few games, because obviously Bissouma's come in. I think they got a good kind of relationship between the two. But we need goals, and Paulinho has been the only one in that midfield to show that he can actually put the ball in the back of the net. So would you prefer to persist with Bissouma or go with a Paulinho?
I wanted Paulinho to start yesterday, just for that added still that he brings. I hadn't even factored the goals he scored. How ironic is it? We started this season, everyone's slamming the Bentancur-Paulinho combination, and now we're about to end the season, and that could be a massive part in the attempt to stay up. I would start Paulinho. I don't think Bish showed enough yesterday. That's the kind of game where you want him to do what he could do, what we saw in the first 10 games of Ange, and we haven't got that Bissouma back, have we? At least with Paulinho, you know what you're getting. With Bissouma, you don't always know.
But it was the same as the back end of last season, right? We spent the whole season slamming Bissouma, and then he came back in for the Europa League run and was a key part of us winning the Europa League.
He was then. Granted, I think he was our best player in Bilbao, in all honesty. I really do. But that's the thing. Cup games, they're one-off games, aren't they?
But that's what we're at now, though, like, with 4 games to go.
There's just so much on it. There's so much on it at the moment. The teams around us are showing that they can get the points, aren't they? We've got the points now. Like Simeon said, it hasn't made a difference in the standings because obviously everyone else picked points up around us. But at least the players can go to training or the warm down today during the week, knowing that they've got that monkey off the back, because it was literally becoming such a weight down on them, on us, the club, everything. That's gone. But if we don't go to Villa and get a result, it's all for nothing, isn't it?
Do you feel like this could be a bit of a momentum shift? Forget the other teams, but for Spurs, can we get a few wins now from now to the end of the season?
What I said when I first came on, Ben, brother, I just can only see us scoring from set pieces.
Yeah, but can we win some games? We won the game through a set piece yesterday.
We did. I don't, mate. Do you know what? I don't know. I hope so. I really, really hope so. But like I said, I just can't see where those goals are coming from. Look where it came from, Paulinho.
Yeah.
I mean, Solanke, before he went off, do you know what he does outside the box? He does some really good hold-up play. He really does. But as soon as he's done that part well and he knocks it off to Porro or whoever it may be, there is no one in the box where he should be to get the goals. I think we're going to be relying on set pieces. And we're going to have to really make them count. Because, like I said, I mean, where were you two and anyone in the chat? Where can you see the goals coming from?
I said to you before.
Like, literally, seriously.
Set pieces and nicking the ball high up the pitch. That's the only way we've scored this season.
Yeah, this is the thing. I said, what about you? Like, if you had to say a player that you think could be amongst the goals to give us the fighting chance. Yeah.
Richie's the only one, isn't it? Who's shows an ability to make something happen, be on the end of things, just smell where the ball's going to drop. I don't now with Solanke out and Xavi out, like that's two of our main goal scorers. You know, another source of goals, potential goals, all now gone. So it gets even more and more worrying. Obviously, we know in other circumstances Moani's been scoring, but not for us. Tell has scored a few goals this season, but I don't know, when was the last time he actually scored? I don't know. Was it Bournemouth, potentially? So he hasn't scored in a while, although he went through a bit of a spell where he was doing stuff. I don't know. I struggle. I struggle when I look at the options we got and thinking, are we going to have the firepower now to stay in this league, or by scoring goals? It's a worry.
It's the thing, isn't it, Sim? That's the thing. It's
Connor's scored before. I mean, he's not exactly.
He's got a goal in his career before. He can do it.
Well, I think that season alone at Palace, he scored quite a few.
Yeah, for Palace he scored. For Chelsea he was scoring. He was a regular source of goals.
So look, we got hope, and I think, Ben, if we do what you said and go with those two more high up midfielders rather than sitting back, that could open something. And the midfielders are going to have to chip in now, aren't they? They're going to have to, because there's literally there is just no strike force.
Yeah, there isn't.
There isn't. And do you know what? As a Spurs fan, no matter what age you are or how long you've been following Spurs, throughout our lives we could all say there's a striker that'll get you a goal out of nothing, or on the right time will get that goal. And unfortunately, at the moment, there isn't one.
No.
Richarlison gets some at the wrong times.
Well, you know what? But Sim, this is the thing. He's had his most injury-free season with us, maybe even in his career, in all honesty, with what he's gone through and the injuries he picks up. And he's got 9 Premier League goals all season.
Yeah.
And when we've come from the likes of, obviously, Kane, Sonny, and all the greats we've had before them, they'd have that before October.
True.
Yeah.
Brian, you look at the our run-in compared with West Ham. You know, Forest now, we've closed the gap on them by a bit, so you've got to keep them in the conversation. But when you look at those run-ins, you know, we do have, on paper, maybe more favourable run-ins, would you say, for the last 4 games?
I would say you look at that, but then you put in our injuries.
Yeah.
Then you put in... we can all put Leeds out, really, can't we? So it's between us, Forest, and West Ham. Forest and West Ham have been here, done that before. They've also got the momentum of Europe, and like we had last season, was it going to be a help or a hindrance? But this time, obviously, we could do what we did because relegation weren't a factor when it is now. The Nottingham Forest start thinking, right, we've got to be careful here, or the way they're playing, they're running, their confidence is so high at the moment, and especially the man that I love, Morgan Gibbs-White, he's come bang into form at the right time, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So it swings and roundabouts, Tim, and as we know, I'm starting. By the way, I'm starting a new quest. I'm going to need your support on it. I'm going to try and get a TV worldwide ban on them showing the Premier League table after we go ahead. Because literally, we went ahead against Brighton, and they go, "Oh look, Spurs are out the relegation." 6 minutes later, we're back in it. Then Xavi's goal. 10 minutes later, we're back in it, and then obviously, yesterday we scored. Oh look, Spurs are here. A few minutes later, no, they're not. They're back in the relegation zone. It needs to stop. It needs to stop showing the Premier League table when we're winning, because it just brings everything on.
What were the scenes like at the Scotland Yard when we were out the relegation zone for those precious 5 minutes?
Oh, mate, it was an incredible 7 minutes. It was, or whatever it was. It was incredible. But I will say, the biggest amount of noise came whenever they put Fraud 1 and Fraud 2 on the screen. Mate, the place erupted.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, where people will know that have been to the Scotland Yard with me, whenever they used to put a certain person on the screen, I got Tottenham Tourette's or Levy Tourette's. Let's just put it that way. I won't even attempt to say the obscenities that come out of my mouth when that man was on the screen. And there'll be a few others that do it, but whenever Vinay or Ladge are put on the screen, the whole pub just literally go batshit bonkers. So, I tell you what, the goal was incredible, but we thought, is he offside?
Yeah.
And you always got that worry, haven't you, when you saw where it was, but then when it was on, but then obviously at full time, there was huge relief. And Spurs have got to build from it and give ourselves the fighting chance. Have we left it too late? I still believe so. And I'm basing that just literally on front line, can't see where the goals are coming from. And like I said, De Zerbi must have read the riot act in the first half, at half time, but there wasn't much improvement in the second half.
No.
That's not a slam. That's not a slam on De Zerbi. Far from it. It's just these players. You see all the other teams. They are coming out like their lives depend on it. Like literally going for it non-stop. And what I loved about, like I said, what I loved about Leeds is when they beat Manchester United. When Manchester United scored the goal they got, they could have crumbled, but they all held back. We're like, right, we're seeing this through. And we just got to hope Spurs could do it and others drop off. But we shall see.
How many points can you see in our next 3 games? So we've got Villa away, sandwiched in between 2 European semi-finals, Leeds at home, and Chelsea away.
My heart is saying 4. My head is saying 2.
Your heart is saying 4, your head is saying 2. Yeah, we said 4.
I can just see it. The Chelsea game I don't even consider, because we know they'll turn up like prime Real Madrid against us. They always do. And even when we've been there and we've had the better team, it's a mental thing when we go to Chelsea, isn't it? It's literally, when you think, this will be the 34th year in the Premier League we've gone to Chelsea and we've won once.
Do you think 4 will be enough to keep us out the relegation zone come the final day?
Just don't know, brother. I just don't know. Like I said, I have never wanted us to be relegated. I don't want to be relegated. I love my football club. If they're in the Championship, I'll be there supporting them at the Scotland. That'll never change. Have we left it too late? Only time will tell.
Look at West Ham's next 3, Daigle. How many points do you see them getting in their next 3? So you said 2. Your head says 2 for us. So how many points do you get to see them?
What's West Ham's next 3, Sim?
Brentford away, Arsenal at home, and Newcastle away.
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Yeah, I can't listen. I can't.
Your head or your heart?
That's your heart, man.
No. Look, like I said, and the reason I say that, the reason I keep saying that, look at what West Ham have done whilst they've been in this position, and you look at the form table, they're up there. No, I'm not saying like the top 4 like since the turn of the year.
Not wrong.
West Ham have been there, done it, they know what this pressure is like. Look at yesterday. They go 1-0 up. They equalise Everton, and they didn't back down. They're like, right, we can't lose this game.
Well, Brian, what you're saying is we're going to be down before the final day.
I've said that for a long time. I don't want it to be the case. I really, really don't want it to be the case. But I just think we've left it too late. Personally, like other people will disagree, whatever. Don't get me wrong. We got a win yesterday against an awful Wolves team. The fair dues, I think Bennett, you and me are the jinx. Simi and Amir have to go to Wolves every year because we just lose otherwise. I think we've just left it too late. I think if De Zerbi had been here earlier, let's say the Tudor time, without question we survive. Like, not even a discussion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But where we are now, it's just literally who's got the biggest hunger and desire to get those points, and West Ham and Forest have been showing it. We showed something yesterday, like the Brighton Brighton performance was a lot better. But then you look at this game that we won, the performance was shocking, but we got the points.
Yeah.
If we could just merge those two together, we'll be fine.
Doesn't matter about it. If we could do Wolves every single week and win 1-0 and play absolute shit, then I'll take that. I don't give a shit about the performance right now. I just need to get the results.
Mate, that's one thing I did say near the end of Frank. Like I said, everyone knows I made the biggest cock up in my life. And not just footballing and supporting Spurs. The biggest cock up in my life, which I own and take responsibility for. But do you remember, Sim, when I came on and spoke to you after the Crystal Palace win?
Yeah.
In December.
You're like, I was saying we're not playing too well. You're like, well, we won.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, points over performance.
I'll take that
points
right
over
now.
performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we need right now. Winning is, as Vin Diesel says in Fast and Furious, winning is winning. It doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile.
Yeah.
And we just need to keep winning. That's what we need. To have any hope, we just have to win all our games. Can I see that? No. But we shall see. We can only...
Where are these 6 points coming from for West Ham?
If you say 6 points, then we really do need to win every game.
4 to 6, I said. Brentford and Newcastle.
Well, they win both those games. I don't think they win
No,
both
I think
those
they're, like I said, 4 to 6.
Yeah.
So there'll be a draw and a win,
and
or
Arsenal?
possibly that's where. And even if it's 4, like I said, even if we would, that means we need 2 wins.
No,
from those next
4 points.
Said.
Yeah, 4 points would need 2 wins. Yeah.
So that's the issue. We looked at it thinking, okay, can we win all our games? Or that's the way I looked at it for weeks and weeks and weeks. But then you factor in, it doesn't matter what we do if the others keep taking points and we don't take advantage.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the issue we have. And I think, do we play after West Ham next week?
Yeah, they play Saturday 3:00. We play Sunday 7:00.
Yeah. So there we go. So
and then
we'll see what happens.
Forest play Chelsea on the Monday. So if we win, it would we close the gap to 2 points before they play Chelsea.
Do you think it's better to play first or second?
First.
No, do you know what? I actually thought could have been an advantage yesterday was both of us playing at the same time. So we didn't go into that that game knowing what was at stake. Like, obviously, if they'd won or whatever, or if they'd lost and we knew we had to win.
Playing at the same time is essentially the same as playing first because you don't know what's going on.
True. But you look at it, we went second all the time against Leicester, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we were doing so well until the West Brom game and Battle at the Bridge. Who knows? Who knows with us? But hopefully we can get those points. Be done with this season. Throw it in the bin. Breathe a huge sigh of relief.
And live to fight another day.
Live to fight. Mate, do you know what? They say a cat has 9 lives. Tottenham fans must have 999 lives.
Yeah, mate.
Mate, it's just... But like we said, can't get any more injuries for obvious reasons.
Well, we can.
The front line...
we most definitely can.
We can. Sorry, let's rephrase that. We can. Let's, like you said, we pray to the gods. Pray to all the gods about just staying...
We've got an injury in every single game De Zerbi's been here.
Well, I think the thing is, can we go a whole week in training without someone picking up one?
Yeah.
We're nearly on 2 injuries a game because you're 3 games, 5 injuries.
So Romero got injured against Sunderland.
Yeah.
Doggy got injured against Brighton.
Yeah.
And now
Kudus before Sunderland.
Kudus, yeah. I'm talking
Now
about in the
Xavi
game
and
though,
Solanke.
like, and now Javi and Solanke. You've had 4 injuries in the last 3 games in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't understand is they're putting all this stuff on LinkedIn for these people. Have you not realised? Don't go to LinkedIn. Literally,
where should they go?
But that's what I'm about to say. If you think about it, you would think that the club send all these players to the best knee doctors or whatever muscle or joint they need surgery on. They send them to the best in the world, whether it be America, Spain, Holland, wherever. You're telling me the people that are very, very top of their profession could say, listen, or say to the doctors, do you know anyone in this field that you could recommend?
Going to LinkedIn.
Rather than going LinkedIn, here you go and apply for the job.
You're sifting through all these CVs.
Exactly, you know what I mean? It's like literally...
They should be headhunting their person, going, you're the guy I want, bring him in.
That's what you'd think they would do, but that medical team has to be addressed. It literally... Or we say that, it keeps getting addressed, doesn't it? But somehow, it gets worse.
Yeah, where are you at with James Maddison? Because we were talking about before Sim asked the question, would you kind of rush him back? Where are you at with that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is that I can't remember last season, did he pick up his injury at Bodo at home?
Yeah.
Okay, so from Bodo at home, being his last competitive game, yes, he played the pre-season. He comes in, like you were saying, Ben, let's just say Villa. We need guys that are pressing, full of energy, that will be relentless non-stop. And this is a slight on James Maddison. He's not fit enough to catch up to the game and be that intense. He could probably do himself more damage.
Yeah.
Would I like to see him get some minutes before the end of the season? See him back on the pitch? Of course we would. Of course we would. He's our most creative player that we have available. And if he was fit and ready to go, you know, like Bentancur, he came back, but he'd been playing this season, hadn't he? He had picked up a nasty injury, but he's been getting minutes on the pitch and everything. Maddison just isn't there. He just isn't there. But it's good to have good feelings and vibe substitutions. Instead of 2 goalkeepers, we've created a new kind of sub. You've got 2 goalkeepers, concussion sub, and now we've got good times and vibes.
Yeah, literally. Maybe we should put Javi on the bench next week as well.
Exactly. It's like, I don't even... You could put a Luca Barnett on the bench. If he's not going to play, he could still go and support the team and be amongst the... Like, we've seen all the injured players, haven't we, at the home games where they're all sitting with the team. So the feeling of vibe sub, I wish we could rely on James Maddison. I wish he was match fit and raring to go. But this is a horrific injury he's coming back from. And the injury he had before pre-season, I just think it's too soon. And him being not match sharp could be a massive, massive liability.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Oh, it's just a tall order, man. It's going to be a tall order. Like, we gave Spurs the max we think is realistic, which is 4. We gave West Ham, which is like pretty low maybe for the form that they've been showing, which is 2, which leaves us on level pegging going into the last day of the season. And we've kind of like, I felt probably we've underestimated West Ham and maybe overestimated Tottenham in that as well. So it's not looking good.
Well, at least it's going to be entertaining, as in what happens, not the performances, if they're like yesterday. But
drama is guaranteed.
How many times do we play at the same time as West Ham from now to the end of the season? Do we play at the same time at all?
I don't know, but one thing we will say is
that was just too much yesterday, having to focus on both games, man.
I saw the video where once I got home, I caught up with everything. I watched the vlog, see that Simeon get lost without his street-to-seat companion. he was completely lost yesterday.
Didn't know where to go. Mate. Couldn't find it.
Mate, honestly, okay, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
So yeah, we shall see. But the last game of the season, yesterday I went to the yard. I was on the train, and I felt physically and emotionally sick just on the train.
Yeah. I had that pit in my stomach all day, man.
Mate, if it goes to the last day of the season, I don't think I can handle that.
Yeah, so next week we play second, day after. The week after we play second, day after. Round 37 we play at the same time, and last game of the season we play at the same time.
Play at the same time. Interesting times, brothers, and everyone in the chat. Interesting times.
Yeah. Well, Brian, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, brother. And brothers, and everyone in the chat, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy the rest of your week. And a super hit when I'm going to leave the way I came in. Never, ever, ever, ever put Vicks here. unless you want your eyes to bleed. Not the best idea. Not the best idea, people. I'll leave you with that pearl of wisdom.
Fantastic.
Big up, Daigle. Speak to you in a
See you
bit.
later, brothers. See you later, chat. Edic out.
Big up to Brian. And we'll just end the show on a couple of super chats. Members chat from George Orton saying, I'm at work, but the win will... Oh, that must have been yesterday. Or maybe... Do you reckon these all yesterday? Wibbers says, if Chelsea win, the window we can play them will be between 6 a.m. on Tuesday, the 19th of May, to 4 a.m. on Friday, the 22nd of May. So it's probably going to be Tuesday or Wednesday night, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it have to be. On my birthday, Friday, imagine.
Yeah, we ain't playing them on Friday when we're playing on Sunday.
No. Oh, no, there's one from... Did you read this one from L'Apprentice?
No, it's not showing up on my thing.
It says, one thing no one talks about, all these injured players won't be able to get a move if we go down. The high wages stays in our book burden for the rebuild.
Yeah, well, there is that wage cut if we do get relegated. So,
Depends on the clauses.
yeah. But yeah, what a far cry from your birthday last year to this year. Last year we won the Europa League on your birthday. This year we get relegated on your birthday.
It was a magical few days. Birthday, the parade. Oh, take me back.
How
Take
can
me
that
back.
happen in the space of a year from Europa League champions to relegation, man?
Ugh.
But your birthday has been quite good to us down the years. I remember a few years back we won against Norwich to get top four, and Sonny got the golden boot.
That was a great day.
So maybe we will
Beautiful
do it. Maybe we're going to stay up on your birthday.
It's on my birthday. We got half a chance.
Yeah, it's true. Shame it's not on your exact birthday, just your birthday weekend. So maybe that's going to be the defining difference.
God, too much on this.
God. I had this pit in my stomach from when Nottingham Forest won 5-0 and it just hasn't left. Still got it now.
I texted Wolfie on Friday. As I said, you're not coming on the stream anymore because it's only for teams in the relegation battle.
Oh, God.
But we won, so they're back in it. Come on, they're back in it.
Did you text him back saying they're back in it?
I texted
You're
him
allowed
back
on the
saying,
stream now.
I put 20 quid on Wolves for us to go down. 33-1, I thought.
Is it 33-1?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's probably less now that we won, but it was 33-1.
All right. Well, that is it from us today. Big up to each and every one of you. We'll see you very, very soon. Spurs have won a game for the first time in 118 days. But we're still banging trouble. We'll see what happens. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.